Yo, yo, Tuesday night. We got a special Tuesday night stream. We've been ripping the mock drafts and answering the questions, and we've got a mock tonight. I know some people were talking about, potentially doing some kind of quirky things. We were talking about the Delta Daddy League, the winner of the March Madness pool, getting the free first 3 years paid for that one.
Is it officially Delta Daddy, or I feel like the Daddy League is what the people want?
It was Daddy Daddy, and then what was Diaz was talking about the format that he wanted that league to be, and whatever the name of it started with a D, or maybe it was an E. All right, I'm getting off, but I do want to pull up. Speaking of the Daddy Delta Daddy League, what's up, Cuckoo? But the boys are back. True, I do have
shout outs.
The current standings of the March Madness pool. I promised that I was going to bring this up regardless of what place I was in, but I am currently in second place with the highest max potential score. If Michigan wins it all, Jeremy might be paying my Daddy League fees for the first
my
thing.
God.
We'll see. No.
I'll have to look at that Final Four. I'll have to see who I'm cheering against.
Non-ball and Colin here. And honestly, the funniest part and the best part about March Madness is I'm going to scroll down. Like, I've got, I think it's, 7 names here? The top 7 here. But you can go down and there's some different championship, and the way that the scoring works, you get like 32 points for picking the champ. So like a huge jump if you get the champ, right? So we'll probably not even see what that actually looks like. What is good? Fan cred.
But it's curious, like one thing I will say is, like, I'm a big March Madness fan. It's one of the best sports events. Like, it's one of those things where it's like the tournament. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, where it's like the Super Bowl is a big cultural event that people will watch it regardless of what teams are in it. March Madness is like a big cultural tournament. People are there just for that tournament. And it's just so fun to watch the brackets. But it is a little bit interesting. Like, I've thought about making maybe March Madness tooling or something to generate brackets or whatever. But it has similar kind of best ball like philosophies when you are actually building out a bracket. Because the smaller your pool is, the more you are looking at those juicy 32-point champions and all these things like that. But then if you're looking at massive $1 million prize pots and things like that, not saying our potentially $500
it's true
prize pot is not bad. But like the when it becomes bigger, it's just like best ball, where you have to kind of take those Rico Dowdle bets and those weird bets that you're like, I don't know if I would take this normally, but I need to hit on these crazy 1% outcomes.
The Iowa.
You see that with the March Madness brackets, where like something like Iowa in a 10-20 person bracket pool. I'm not going to take Iowa over a 1 seed most likely, unless I have strong conviction. But in those smaller, those larger pools with so many brackets, like, that's going to be what differentiates a bracket that makes it farther.
Yeah, I will say the humble genius himself did have Florida losing next round, so almost there. We didn't quite have the Cojones.
Did you have them losing to in the Elite Eight?
I think I have them losing to Vanderbilt, who is no longer in the tournament.
Oh,
so
okay, well.
And shout out to Big Diaz. Hit the like, y'all. Appreciate it. And also, Diaz, I want you to know that I made 3 overlays, like images to throw on the screen of where the brackets are at. And I made a 4th one just so I can get the wifey selected Diaz bracket on the leaderboard. Still in it if Purdue wins it all, for sure. So Diaz not out of it yet.
Purdue has a pretty easy bracket, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we'll see.
Until they hit Arizona.
Is gone. Yeah. Oof. What do we got? Thursday games are back, right?
Yep, I think so. Patty Mills, I'm not hoping that works out well for you, because as an NC State, we got to believe in Will Wade. I can't have Chapel Hill figuring it out before us.
All right, enough March Madness. Actually, not enough March Madness. If you guys want to keep talking about it, I will be here for that. But we have an actual Dynasty trade. I'm going to post the auction mock in a minute if you guys want to get in there. It is going to be 14 total players, so it's not going to be insanely long. It's going to be 30 seconds to nominate, and then 10 seconds is the reset when there's a new bid. Mm-hmm. So it should move fairly quick, I say, as I'm setting up for a 2.5 hour Dynasty nonsense stream. But we've got a question here, and then I'll post the link. What is up? Slick Sawick 208. If I trade Montgomery, Pearsall, and the 209 for Bucky Irving, would that be a good trade for me? I am rebuilding and I have nobody except the 101 and Monty as relevant RBs. Yeah, I was about to ask format, but I know people are down on Bucky. People are not feeling the Bucky pick that you made in the startup mock we had last week with Kenny Gainwell taking over the pass catching role. But man, when I think Bucky role wise should hold enough value to easily take over this package, regardless of format.
Yeah, and I mean, I think too, like you said, I'm rebuilding, and that's the key here. Is you're kind of taking pieces that maybe have moments, and you might plug it into Dynasty Daddy trade calculator or something, and find a certain trade market that says, well, you want to take the package because Pearsall and the 209, like they all have value. Yeah. I think in this though, you're shooting for upside in a rebuild. You're trying to look for those future like centerpiece assets that you can build around. And Bucky has that upside. He had a bad year last year. People are a little concerned this year, but Bucky also has the outcome of being a top 5 RB in fantasy and getting extremely valuable workload. So for me, yeah, like this is kind of the perfect package to bail you out, especially of Pearsall. I could see you saying, oh, I want to take the risk. I personally do not. Like, I'm like, I don't want it. They brought in Mike Evans. Like, I don't want the risk of that. Like, I do think he's probably a little overvalued.
Christian
especially
Kirk
as a rebuilder.
He is going to be more involved than people want, the Pearsall fans. And I'm talking to myself too, because I'm a Pearsall, I don't want to say believer, but sent some bad Pearsall trades last year is all I'll say.
But I was just going to say, as a rebuilder, a 209, you're probably just going to hit a random dart throw. So it's okay to trade that. In Montgomery, the sell window is almost completely closed. He's about to be, someone that is kind of in Nick Chubb tier of, okay, like he might score me 6 points, but I'm not going to get much from him. So I think that's a great package for Bucky.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, in a rebuilding. Like, I totally get these kind of package deals when it's like contending piece. Like, if you are trading away Bucky to get maybe Amani's a part of it, and you're getting Devontae Adams and these other contending pieces, and you're like, I'll move off of the dynasty value, but the other package is just shots in the dark that I don't think are adding up to what Bucky will hold, and the upside of being able to turn into a better piece on the swap around when you are ready to compete and able to use Bucky in that way.
Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Rocky Top, what's up? We'll have to catch this one in a few hours on a rewatch. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Thank you for the pop in. And thank you guys for hitting the like. I never do. My hit the like usually happens about 2 hours into the stream, where I don't think it's impacting the YouTube algorithm as much as it should be within the first 10 minutes. So smash the like
15 minutes
button.
Before the close, you're like, you should subscribe.
Smash that.
You sat through 2 hours.
Yeah. Please, guys, give me something.
I will say also shout outs to Tennessee. I assume Rocky Top is a Tennessee fan.
There you go. Heck yeah. And the
if
mock,
not, maybe you just like their fight song.
Rocky. The mock is, link is right here. I think we got some people joining in. $500 budget. I did the little breakdown. Yeah, we'll do the breakdown.
$500. The potential March Madness.
Oh, true. That's why I did it for sure, 100%. But definitely click there. We'll get that started once we get people in there. But we'll be going through. Appreciate the shout out. Telling my wife I never lost faith in team wifey picked. Hey, Jeremy was talking about it, man. That bracket is different. It is # different. Now, right now, different means last place, but it could mean first place if Purdue wins it all. We'll see.
That's true. Purdue. Not many people have Purdue.
Would you move the 112 for Malik Willis, or is this an overpay in Superflex? I think that's like probably where Malik Willis is valued at right now. Let's head over to the site. I haven't seen any. I know we did a little bit of the Malik Willis deals, but I'm sure we've gotten a handful of more, especially post Waddle. I think people were ready to take their bets on both sides. We probably have a couple more Malik Willis deals.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, if you on the player pages as well, you can see the pick ranges individual pick ranges using the Dynasty Daddy official trade values, and he falls within the 109, the 110. I think it's perfectly fine. Malik Willis upside, you probably have a 2-year window unless he completely flames out. And even if he flames out, he's going to be a high-end handcuff type quarterback. That's not an absolute zero. Like, think about if you traded the 112 for Justin Fields last year. Sure, did it work out well? Not amazing. You didn't get the best outcome for that, but he still gave you some decent weeks in fantasy football. And then he's also a high-end backup for the Chiefs that will probably get some run out and some usability. And the fact that he relies so much on the ground game is just crucial. I think, too, another thing with Malik Willis is the situation he's coming into is so bad that I imagine if he can just play himself out of like the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in 2027, like the Arch Mannings and whoever ends up in that tier, if he can play himself out of that range, the Dolphins have so much else to fix and so much dead money. They're not going to be like, oh, let's move off of this quarterback as quickly as maybe other teams that potentially have a bad team.
Yeah, I'm seeing, obviously a couple of these 110 through 112, mostly straight up deals for Willis, but seeing some cheap, like 2 seconds. I definitely would kick the tires on Willis. I think I talked about moves happening. Like, I think it's more likely moves have happened post Waddle that people that are holding on to Willis are like, I'll just cash out on this value that I have of this quarterback that turned into a starter. And, the other side of people being willing to buy as that price goes down a little bit. But man, 2 seconds for, a quarterback that runs, like regardless of how you feel about the offensive situation, the weapons that he has, if Malik Willis is starting every game for the Miami Dolphins for the next 2 seasons, like that is a completely reasonable QB2 in Superflex with QB1 upside.
And Will, while you got the trade calc pulled up, click one of those the little squiggly lines.
Let's do
you got to show the people the improved. I haven't officially announced this in the Discord yet.
Dude, there's some things cooking. Honestly, that is true every single week that Jeremy is cooking things on the Dynasty Daddy site. But right here, you want to talk through it? I've got this AJ Brown, Malik Willis. You'll see a little graph here that's taking you through the player values over time.
Yeah, so now the visuals are much better, right? And that was shout outs to my wife who is at her dinner club tonight. So she's not in the stream chat right now, but she was like, you need to make the visuals a little better on these trade cards. Cause she was like, my eyes are drawn to the old ones had all the color on the format. So she was like, I'm drawn to the format of the league, not the actual pieces in the trade. So I thought that would be a nice way to revamp everything. And then also being able to click that option, it will open up the current state of if it's a fair trade or not. Like this one says it's fair. And then it'll also give you a 3-month historical view of the value of both packages. So it can get very fun to look at, okay, what is this package doing over time and things like that. And just kind of see, the value trends of certain trades, right? You can look at this trade and say, well, the red line, it's slowly been going down. Blue line's been going up. So it's, you can kind of see certain trends of like maybe in a month, it might not be technically fair based on the trends of the players involved in the package.
Yeah. And then obviously we're all familiar enough with players and assets to have a good feel for like people's feelings around like AJ Brown, for example, which, I didn't bring it up, but we've got, I don't know if this was I'm usually good on the transitions. I was about to transition into Elijah Moore signing with the Eagles. I don't know if that's...
Oh, nice.
I'm going to save us all some time.
That would go well.
We're going to take a break from the Elijah Moore on the Eagles breakdown and keep moving on through the questions and the trades. But yes, this is dope. And you get to see like these that are a little bit more widespread. You get to see like which side the value difference alongside just that overtime breakdown for trades that are not listed as fair in terms of the current value of the total assets on each side. Sup, fellas? What is up? 10-man full PPR. I got offered 2 trades. Waddle for Igbuka. is one of them. Waddle and A.J. Brown for Justin Jefferson. Thoughts on either? And this is giving away. This is a contending team that has Waddle, so it would be moving off of Waddle. I mean, I would happily move off of Waddle for Igbuka. The Waddle and AJB for JJ, pure timing-wise, is kind of interesting to me. Just because I don't want to say that Elijah Moore is like the piece that is making me confident that A.J. Brown is not going to be on the Eagles next season, but it's a culmination of the Dallas Goedert contract talks getting pushed back.
I would not have...
It's a small piece of the puzzle. How big are puzzles, man?
I'll add a wrinkle.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you even have considered this Elijah Moore thing has really got you a little stun locked.
Plus,
they also signed Hollywood Brown.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. See, all these. I mean, this is a 4-piece puzzle, and 3 of the pieces are in place. And is the 4th piece AJ Brown? Shipped out of town. Wow.
It's like Thanos. It's the Thanos collecting all the Infinity Stones, but it's just mid wide receivers that the Dynasty community used to love.
We just need dude, you get Diggs.
Jahan Dotson.
Diggs just
Jahan Dotson's still there
in Philadelphia. He is on the Falcons. Yeah, that's the new Darnell Mooney. Jahan Dotson. Let's go.
I will say, I think with this trade,
yeah,
I lean slightly JJ just because it is a 10-man full PPR, and I'm hesitant. I don't know how many starters it's going to be. And while JJ had a bad year last year, Kyler, do we know if Kyler can truly support a wide receiver 1? It's kind of a mixed bag, right? You had Hopkins in Arizona, and Hopkins was impressive. And even Hollywood Brown, when Hopkins was out, put up decent numbers. But obviously the Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson situation didn't pan out. So I don't really know who the blame to put on that is. But to me, I'm like in a 10-man league, I got to shoot for elite upsides. And even if the Kyler experiment busts, I still have JJ, which is probably going to be a much more flexible player than even like an Igbuka.
Yeah, that is a good shout. If we're talking like a 10-man, like a 10x10, even 10x11 or 10x12. Man, the JJ prices. I don't know if you've seen some of these JJ deals. We probably should just pull it up and take a look at it. He is you get the one season, the what have you done for me lately Dynasty redraft vibes from people, and people forget about one of the greatest receivers.
Wide receiver 5.
Wide receiver 5, but it's like that almost feels like that feels somewhat disrespectful in its own right, but the wide receiver 5 is turning into like he is way more easily attainable than he's ever been in his career. Like even if like
Drake London in the 210.
Yeah.
It's like
tack on a pick onto tack on a
like I like Drake London, but a late second, like come on.
All right, I'm going to quick shout this out as people are coming in. If anybody wants to be in this auction mock, this will be happening as soon as we have the slots filled. We're still going to be answering trade questions and everything while we're going through the auction mock, but get in there so that we have enough people and can actually do it.
Yeah, I will say, if you're like, hey, man, I don't really know auction. It's a little confusing. Both
too.
Will and I before this were like, we have no idea what we're doing. I think I've done one auction draft, and it was a 6-team league. So it was weird.
I do redraft auction. Redraft auction is cool because that feels like the one format or drafts type in redraft where you can actually get your guy. Because obviously in normal startups, 8-hour timers on the clock, you're moving around the board, trading seconds and first to move up and move back and get your guy, move into tiers. But auction it's a unique beast. It is literally like every player is attainable. It is not just, I can move around and get my guy if the person will listen to my trade offer. It is, no, if you want to pay up, get your guys and lose all your money. You can do it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Leaf Peterson, Superflex 12, teamer, 0.5 PPR. Team is deep at wide receiver and light at running back. Would you trade the 103 and Rome for the 101? Ooh, I would really.
Ooh.
Deep at wide receiver. I don't usually make these kind of requests. I would want, Leaf, if you're in the chat, if you can give us how many starters and then how deep are we talking? Like if you can list out tell us how many starters and then tell us how many receivers you have and your current running back room. because 103 and Rome. I do love. Like, would you do that if that said Bijan or Gibbs? Are you doing that pretty easily with this context?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I still want to know the context, so I feel better about telling somebody to do that for a running back who has not played a snap in the NFL.
The issue is, like, I think it might work in your favor, right? But I think coming off the heels of Ginty, where everyone's like, yeah, you got to go pay basically the baked-in price of you're getting the next Bijan. And then it didn't really work out that way. Not that Ginty's been bad, but rookie running backs are, they're not amazing producers usually right out of the gate. And the only time they are is when you have like Cam Scatterbo that takes over a situation after Tracy gets hurt, and it's like, well, we don't have anyone else to use. So that's my hesitation with Jeremiah Love is like, I feel like I like Jeremiah Love, but like if I'm betting on elite production right out of the gate, I'm kind of buying a player that I think will have that in a few years, like sometime within the first 4 years he's in the NFL, truly have that type of breakout. But I'm hesitant to pay that up and be like, I probably try to kick it around and say, hey, like, how much would it be to get Gibbs? Like, what do I need to add on to this? Because this is a strong package to just be sending out.
Yeah, and then the team context too is not necessarily just the deal itself that I want to look at and let you know if yes, you should do this deal. I talked about this last stream that I want to do this more often when we get questions like this. Is the team context gives me more confidence to give another option. You know, how much is Chase Brown? How much is, Josh Jacobs? Like these, if you are contending for next year and your wide receiver room is deep, but like moving off of Rome and the 103 makes it a little sketchy, and like you're starting Cortland Sutton and another vet receiver, or it isn't as deep as far as a strong contending team would feel, and you're adding a rookie running back to the mix. Okay, 3 wide receivers start: Ladd, Devonta Smith, Watson, Pearsall, Golden. So that's like an interesting, like in terms of upside, I would call that like a fairly deep upside receiver room. But in terms of like, I am confident that this wide receiver room is smashing next year. After Ladd and Devonta, I mean, some people would even say Ladd, but to me, after Ladd and Devonta Smith, like I like Watson, but we're going to get healthy Jaden Reed, healthy Tucker Kraft, Pearsall with Mike Evans, Christian Kirk. I don't even need to say a lot about Matthew Golden in last season. So like that makes me a little bit sketched out depending on how many starters you have.
Yeah, I kind of do agree, because even if it is a shallow starter league, like then it means like Ladd and Devonta, like while they're decent wide receivers, it's not like, oh, I have CeeDee Lamb and Rashee Rice, or like it's not the upper tier guys that are typically, like kind of the Drake London line and better, where you're sitting there saying, okay, I do have 2 top 10 wide receivers, and then the rest I can kind of fill out. You kind of have 2 wide receiver 2s and hope that Watson doesn't get hurt, and Pearsall and Golden figure out some sort of consistent workload. So I guess I'm less bought in on doing a deal like this. I think like if I would sit here, I say, okay, if I need a wide receiver or running back really bad, can I move the 103 for a running back and keep Rome, or can I move Rome for a running back and then take whatever's available at the 103 that fits my roster the best? And that might be, hey, let me re-roll on Rome and turn Rome into a Bucky Irving or something a little bit lower, like a James Cook. Like, what can I add to Rome to get kind of like some productive guy that just doesn't have that, sexy brand new car that's on the Tennessee Titans running back with Cam Ward and Robert Saleh.
Hey, Dayball's there. No,
yeah,
I totally
that's going to
agree.
work out.
I mean, it was a great shot too. I mean, even Bijan and Gibbs, right? The cream of the crop, the top end of dynasty value meets production. Those rookie seasons were disappointing in terms of like expectations for those players. Like the split Gibbs had with Monty, like a true 50-50 split with the goal line. And speaking of goal line, we didn't do this, and I see a bunch of questions, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time. But I told myself that I would be the news guy at the start of the streams.
Ooh, the news guy.
I do think we need to mention.
Like you need to like do a a sound effect or something.
News with Will. All right, we've got Brian Robinson. Tyler Algier leaves town. People, I think, were, excited about the prospects. And kind of the same thing with Gibbs with like the, Montgomery leaves and Pacheco comes in. I went back through like all the inside the 5 carries for all the different teams in terms of Stefanski with Cleveland last season. Judkins dominated that. With the Falcons last year, where it was a true split. I think they both, Algier and Bijan, had 10 carries inside the 5 last season. And Algier was much more efficient. But B-Rob has kind of had an interesting, backfield in terms of like the years with Washington, where he was not necessarily the lead back initially. Antonio Gibson had kind of dominated that inside the 5 work his first 2 years there. And then he dominated versus Austin Eckler. It was like a 10-5 kind of split ratio. All that to say, I am not too worried. And I expect, like, if you see this and you're like, dang it, Bijan screwed out of the goal line stuff. We've got another Tyler Algier coming in there. I think looking back at the split last season and it being a true 50-50 split in terms of which running back is going to inside the 5 work, I think there's a lot of upside, even with a running back who's had a decent role in backfields. And I didn't even mention last season with, it literally was like 22, or I think it was 20 carries inside the 5 for Christian McCaffrey and like 2 for Brian Robinson.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you'd be like, oh, no, it's a 50-50 backfield. Like, who was the RB2 in total fantasy points last year? Bijan Robinson. I think he'll be okay.
Through that.
Hey, guess who number 1 was? Christian McCaffrey. So it's you're sitting there and you're like, oh, no, I'm freaking out about this. I think the days of Brian Robinson really being a true RB1 are done. And, like, we saw that with kind of I thought his usage in San Francisco was shocking to me. I thought it would be like, okay, McCaffrey off of this Achilles injury, like we'll kind of have him be more involved in the workload. Instead, they're like, let's just kill McCaffrey again. I expect Bijan will have a more balanced workload with Brian Robinson, but I'm not too concerned. To me, I'm not sitting there being like, oh no, like we knew they'd bring someone in. And Tyler Algier is a better player than Brian Robinson, or at least equal in terms of like what to expect.
Yeah. And I mean, just in terms of Algier versus Brian Robinson, obviously looking at the contract Algier got and the opportunity role he got versus where Brian Robinson's at. All right. Someone offered me Jacobs plus a 27-second for my ETN. My HN. I'm competing. New team running back is nice, but Jacobs is good. It seems like a free 27-second. Thoughts? I definitely would prefer Travis HN straight up versus Jacobs with the contract and this kind of feeling like, yes, no Emmanuel Wilson, but I would not be surprised at all if the Jacobs opportunity starting next season, or not after next season, is not as good as Achan's is, but I probably would take the second here. Treating running back like a 1-year bet kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, like the Achan, I'm getting used to it as well. But I think we kind of have rose-colored glasses because we're like, oh, he's on a new team. Oh, like this should be exciting. He had kind of a decent year last year, especially in the beginning of the year, and had a couple good weeks over the playoffs. So there's, kind of rose-colored glasses here. He is a running back, 27 years old, on a team that turned it on towards the end of the year. Did cause me to sweat as a Panthers fan after losing to them twice, when all we had to do was beat the Saints to make the playoffs. But I think it's basically within the same tier as Josh Jacobs. So I'm just going to take the plus as well. Give me the extra flexibility. And Jacobs, like people are down on Jacobs, but Jacobs is the only difference between Jacobs is he's 1 year older and certainly has more wear and tear, but also kind of has less injury issues in general. So I'm just going to take the bet of I expect Jacobs to be a productive player in this offense, especially an offense that sometimes will just pound the rock to an absurd amount. And we're like, no, pass to all these wide receivers. We need one of these Packers wide receivers to get a consistent workload.
Yeah.
But the only consistent thing in the offense is Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. And I think people with Jacobs are a little bit, all right, turned off is the phrase I was going to use. I'm going to work on finding a better phrase than turned off. They're don't
turned
feel,
off.
They don't feel great about Josh Jacobs. Just thinking back to the end of last season, like coming off and playing through an injury a little bit, the split with Emmanuel Wilson, some of those kind of like dud stinker games in the fantasy playoffs. But obviously, no Emmanuel Wilson there. I'm not going to pretend that Marshawn Lloyd is going to be a thing anymore. I have a 2-year rule for pretending that an injured running back is going to be a thing.
Man, I guess you missed out on all the Kenneth Gainwells.
I actually did. That is a true statement. All right, I have to bring this up just because Kyle's making fun of me. Will, did you tell everyone how you didn't want to trade for Josh Allen? I have a trade offer. This is I'm leaking privileged DM information, but I think everyone will agree with me. We'll see. So I was inquiring about the Jaden Daniels to Josh Allen. Kyle in this league, it is a best ball, start to tight end, 12 starters. I get it wrong every time. So, Diaz or somebody will correct me. But whatever, 12 by 12, start to tight end, best ball league. And Josh Allen, Dallas Goedert, and Daniel Jones. So tight ends do matter more in this league because you have to start 2, and it is best ball. So it is nice to have tight ends that can give you production. But that package for Jaden Daniels, Amon-Ra, and Kyler. And I just felt like moving off of Amon-Ra for this, and bro brought the receipts. Hey, if you're gonna call me out, I'm gonna come correct, man. I got the snipping tool on my computer. I can pull it up quick. Hey,
if you weren't here 2 weeks ago when Tricky Trev came in here, like the receipts will come out.
True. But I just feel like this kind of package, like if I'm moving off of an Amon-Ra level asset, I'm just gonna pretend that Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson, young Lamar Jackson. I'll just pretend that's the case. I'm gonna close that out. I think we're all on the same page there. Even you, Kyle. All right. Also, before I get into this one, Curtis, I'm coming right back to you. Sorry, I hit you with the pump fake. I try not to do that. Guys, please don't make me create a new thumbnail and put it over this one, and we have to change the title so that people don't think that an auction mock happens on a stream where it doesn't happen.
Well, I will say we're on red alert. I think the auction is scaring people away.
We're losing people.
We only got Patty Mills right now.
What's the worst that can happen? All right, what's the worst that could happen? You guys are already hanging out here, right? Click the link. Shout out to Patty Mills for sticking with us. Let's make it happen, please. If my if my pitch didn't work,
we're reaching the begging part of the.
Hopefully the please works. Click that link.
We're gonna make Will open up Canva.
Dang it! There we go. I see Kyle in there. Shout out to Kyle. Thank you. I will do an individual shout out.
We're just gonna see Will say the draft settings have been updated and it's a 4-team draft.
Wait, if enough people yell at me, we can change it. I'll make a new thumbnail. It's fine. But no, come on, it'll be fun. Auction will be fun. It's not gonna take a long time. I promise. All right, Curtis, I'm back. Sorry, I pump faked you. And then I just pump fake Tyler. I'll come back to you as well. Double pump fake. 10-team Superflex. I have Lamar, May, Stroud, and Lawrence. Woo! Looking to move one for an RB. Should I be trying to case out with a big package for May? Or should I be moving one of the others? Thanks. In most of these cases, without knowing any context about conversations that are having, especially with rooms that are strong like this, like Lamar, Stroud, and Lawrence is like a super strong 3 QB room. Mm-hmm. I am totally fine moving off of whatever will get me the most return. And May, 100%. And Lamar as well. But I think May right now for sure carries that. People are wanting to buy. Would you want to hold out and see if New England adds a receiver in the draft or the A.J. Brown thing actually happens and you get that juicy bump? Or am I being too quirky and you should just start to inquire right now because people love Drake May?
I mean, what's the jump? Currently, he's QB2.
I think the jump is
he's 6th
people
overall.
Are paying the QB2 price because I don't know if Drake May right now carries that kind of like he actually is young Josh Allen. But I think he gets A.J. Brown. He is young Josh Allen to people.
I bet you do have the conversation. Like I saw Kyle mentioned the May for Bijan. Like I think to me that's why I'm trying to make that deal happen as quickly as possible. Like a deal like that, because while I'm giving up a elite asset, you can always sell, hey, like AJ Brown to Patriots is probably going to happen or something like that.
Yeah.
But if I can turn May into a elite asset that fits my window, and May someone that a lot of these teams are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense for me as well. Like I don't need a running back as much. I can probably make do. Just because like I don't really want to tear down a ton from May. Like I think May has very few players that I would want to try to trade for. But yeah, I mean, I would just try to do it now because I don't think the value changes a ton. And if it does, like, then you can just try again. Like it's not like Bijan's off the market now because there's a 5% bump to Drake May's value for Stephon Diggs coming back or something.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I think like you can definitely see, you can put on the block or communicate that you're willing to move any of these quarterbacks, but I think most of the time, the whole we'll see what you can get for Stroud right now doesn't actually turn into like a good return in terms of like production, because somebody's gonna look at your QB room and go, why the hell am I paying for CJ Stroud? Why am I giving you production for next year for CJ Stroud when you have Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, and Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
So
I would sell May or Lawrence, right? Like if the May deals kind of fall through, if I'm looking for a tear down, I would look at like a Lawrence to like James Cook type of range.
Yeah.
Consistent, productive
got
player.
Some juice. Strong
and
last
people
season.
Like him right now, right?
Rushing production.
That's
people
exactly
buying
what
into the
want.
Offense. Good wide receiver room. Good.
Like
good
Lamar and Stroud, you're
receiver.
selling at a loss. Like you're selling. People treat Stroud like Bryce Young, and Lamar Jackson. People are like, I don't really want to deal with him. So I'm not trying to sell Lamar, especially Lamar at a discount. Like to me, it's just like he was injured. I expect him to be Lamar Jackson when he's healthy.
Yeah. 10-team start 8 and a rebuilding team. Top wide receivers are Pickens, Addison, QJ Judy. I was thinking about trading Pickens to try and get Rashee Rice and the 106. Thoughts? Dude, can you do that? Is that real? Can you trade George Pickens and get Rice in the 106?
I mean, this is, I'll say,
shout-outs, super shallow, but
shout-outs to r/Dynasty Daddy, the subreddit. We're about to pass 2,000 members in there.
Let's go. But we are about to pass 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Sub, if you guys aren't subbed. I don't have the...
that is our ceiling right now. It's the 2,000 mark.
Is this real?
But
we got some work to do, but sub still. 37 is not an insane, insurmountable number.
But to say that I post things about Rashee Rice and the opinions are just all over the place.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, get rid of him. Some people are like, no, that's a fleece. So to me, I don't think you could get this deal in most leagues, but there's people that are going to be extremely low on Rashee Rice, and Pickens is also a player that some people are very, very high on.
Yeah, I'm
probably a little bit lower on Pickens than the consensus, but the fact that I can sit here and flip them for Rashee Rice in the 106, which the draft hasn't even happened yet, and the 106 could be very juicy given what happens in the draft, I'm definitely going to do that. Now, I'm not saying I buy all the Ty Simpson hype that Orlovsky and others are pushing out there, but something could happen in the draft where that 106, you're like, oh, like, Kenyon Sadiq's an amazing spot, or Omar Cooper goes a lot higher than we thought. There's a bunch of options that pick could be extremely valuable, and the fact that you get basically a receiver that is going to be suspended for like 6 weeks again and then comes back and is a focal point of that offense, I also want.
Heck yeah. All right. Who dat Bayou? Thank you for popping in. I'm going to click over here just to show maybe the screen show. I showed the screen. People know it's real. We'll get some clickers in here. Anybody play Hearthstone? I was about to do the everyone get in here. I don't know if that reference is probably not worth it.
I think the Venn diagram between the Dynasty Daddy,
some people,
the 15 people in here, and the
well, how about this one? I'll do a better reference. How about I start doing the DAC warm-ups? You know what he's talking about, the band on?
Yeah, the hip thing, the hip.
Yeah. I could go full screen.
I feel like I would pull something doing that.
If we I'm playing pickup basketball. I've been running. I could definitely do some DAC warm-ups. Right now. Maybe not a couple weeks ago, but guys, everyone get in here. Come on, please. Click the link. It's pinned, I think. All right, back to the people. honestly, back to Patty Mills, who's been in here since the jump. Appreciate you. 14 team Superflex start 9 PPR.
Patty Mills is legend.
All right, 14 by 9. Rome in the 112 for Pickens. Now you're the Pickens hater. I'm gonna toss this over to you. Let's
no, I just say I'm a little bit lower.
Okay, the Pickens thing I will say and give you credit for is that JSN contract, man. Like anytime a receiver gets paid and a receiver like George Pickens is franchise tag, not gonna show up and play until a long-term contract is signed, it gets a little spookier. That's a lot of money that went to good old Jackson Smith and Jigba there. But with all that being said, you taking Rome in the 112 and a 14 by 9 or Pickens? I'm taking Pickens.
I'm probably taking Pickens. I think even if I don't like Pickens, I can use him to get to he's a much more flexible piece right now than Rome. My bear case for Pickens is obviously the contract situation that Jerry Jones likes to put his best players in. And obviously we've seen the tag and all of that. And there's also the weird stuff. This is kind of a vibes base, so not 100%, but sometimes he just kind of quits on routes and certain things. And you're like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, that's not going to help with the negotiations of the contract. But I think the biggest thing for me is a lot of the boom weeks came from when CeeDee Lamb wasn't there. And that to me, I'm like, I don't know if that's something I want to pay wide receiver 10 prices for right now. I think I'm not saying I'm out on them forever, but I think the offseason you kind of are able to say, wow, yeah, Pickens did do really good. But then you forget some of the context around it. And that's why I'm like, okay, I'm not paying the elite prices for Pickens. I still would like Pickens. That's why I said late first with Rome. I think that's a perfectly fine deal. If you look at Pickens, I think Pickens is valued between the 101 and the 102 on Dynasty Daddy, and Rome is the 104 to 105. If you add the 104, 105 plus the 112 to go up to the 102, I think that's also a pretty decent trade in terms of it being fair. So I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm with you. What pick are you taking? I was gonna do the flip side, but I think you kind of went through that a little bit with those player values. Yeah, I like Pickens, man. Pickens, I'm kind of a. You show me you're a baller.
You're buying in.
You produce as well as, I mean, coming off the injury, I'm not gonna say who's the wide receiver 1 in Dallas, but I don't know, man.
I'm gonna say probably the one that's been paid.
Yeah.
That's good. That's Pickens, the hard part. You got to pay the guy.
Dude, Pickens going to Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh. What a brutal start. No wonder he's mad all the time.
He crashed out. Yeah.
Honestly. Dude, the Dan Orlovsky. What was the Dan Orlovsky, Lions legend. Okay. Don't get me started. But
best years as a Lion, right? Best years of your Lion fandom.
Dude, he said something. I heard he said something like, "What big games did Mendoza play in?" Wait, what do you mean? What big games? All of the biggest games. Yeah. Multiple.
Every big game from last year.
Crazy.
I mean, I think the Mendoza obviously performed very well in the playoffs. And I think the two things that really stuck out to me with Mendoza, just from he might have the it factor, which is hard to quantify, is obviously that big run against Miami in the national championship that everyone saw.
Yeah.
But then also the final drive of that Penn State game where they were down against a Penn State team that does have talent, but was major underdogs after losing their head coach. And he came down and threw one of the most ridiculous touchdown passes to walk off, win that game. And that to me, I'm like, okay, it's kind of the vibes based thing of Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, are they winners? I think being able to be a winner starts to just translate at a certain point. Like, like Ty Simpson, is he a winner? I don't really know. Like, and I don't think it's fair to say it was his fault, but he also wasn't. I didn't see those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, like they wouldn't have won that game without, Ty Simpson doing X.
Yeah, pressure was on Simpson. Yeah, I think it's totally fair too to talk about like the Mendoza. Obviously, the big game stuff. Like Mendoza didn't have to do a ton. Like he made some big throws and big plays, but I don't know. I think we're doing too much with the. I think.
I will say too, like Ty Simpson did have a couple issues, right? And it was a lot of he got banged up second half of the year. Their offensive line was trash and their run game was terrible. And then also you had Ryan Williams, who was supposed to be the 1B to Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
Absolutely pooping his pants. Now he's only like 19, so he can figure it out. But to me, I'm not going to bury Simpson. And I think at the 106 to 107, absolutely. I think Simpson is at play, especially if he gets first-round draft capital. We're looking in that range. I'm going to be taking him higher than a lot of these Jadarian Prices or whatever if they land in the expected draft capital.
Yeah.
I think a high-value quarterback, you just got to take it. But I don't think there's almost any world where Ty Simpson's going to jump the top 5 consensus in dynasty drafts unless he gets top 10 draft capital and you're sitting there being like, do I take a injured Jordan Tyson or Ty Simpson?
Shout out to Dude Crush joining the auction mock. Guys, we are 6 people away. What if 6 people made the decision to make the auction mock happen? Please, guys, I do not.
I
want to make another thumbnail. I am a little bit behind on the video editing. I come on, click the link.
I think the new stream title is Will begs for 2 hours to fill a mock draft.
Come on, guys, it'll be fun. I promise. All right, this is an interesting one. I am a contender. And not that the other ones have not been interesting. If you had sent a trade earlier and I didn't call that
It's okay.
out.
It's okay.
This is interesting, though. I'm a contender and have the 102.
Every trade question is interesting and
it's
special.
Right. True.
Yeah.
All right, the 102 via trade. So the contender that has the 102, I'm looking to offer the 102 and Kenneth Walker for the 101. Full PPR, 10 and premium, super flex. I love, man. And I would do some nasty things to move up to the 101.
Where is this going?
But I don't know, man. Kenneth Walker, big contract with the Chiefs. Like, I'm fine just. Now, it depends on the form. Like, a super shallow, you could probably talk me into it. But I don't know, man. I like these receiver prospects. We could get a top 10 receiver pick to an awesome landing spot, I think I'm holding on to that and just kind of banking on Kenneth Walker giving me similar-ish production to, what we just talked about, a rookie, these stud rookie running backs give you their first year. Now, if Jeremiah Love is Bijan Robinson, yeah, I probably wished I would have done that. But what if, Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon is... All right, I stopped myself from saying, like, CD Lamb. But has Drake London value. You wouldn't want to attack, Kenneth Walker on top of Drake London to move up to some of these running backs.
Yeah, the closest I've seen 8 days ago, 2 quarterback, 10 teams, start 13, the 101 for the 104 in Kenneth Walker. I don't think, here's one that's a 102 in Kenneth Walker. I don't think it's unfair. Now, a lot of these seem to be happening in shallower leagues.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of, and this might have to be like you sitting at the full Dynasty Daddy power rankings and kind of just sitting there and looking at your team. Because is this like we've done good for ourselves. Like, let me go out and get that nice car. Like, I want to go out and get the fancy car. Sure, that you could go get Jeremiah Love and have that flashy Dynasty centerpiece. That even if he kind of does bad, he'll still be valued like Genty, and still be kind of a very tradable asset that people are interested in. Whereas like Kenneth Walker, next year might not be as flexible. But I do think you're going to probably just eat a little bit of the value. Like I probably just look at this and say, I can get running back production and I get a bite at whatever player I need, whether it's a wide receiver, quarterback. And then if one of them hit, like, then it's like, oh, cool. Like I didn't have to pay up for a player that might be just as good as Jeremiah Love. And like, I always say it, like last year, I said with Ginty, I was like, if you had the Ginty pick, just trade back and get the Hampton and then get whatever plus you can get, because they're probably going to score pretty similarly. I don't think this draft class is the same, I guess, like in terms of the fall off from Love to a Tate. But still, I think, to me, I'd just rather take the bet that a Tate or Lemon or Mendoza or whoever I end up taking can do more for me, and it gives me more moves I can make than consolidating all into the 101. Yeah. That being said, if you really want to make that pick, like, go for it.
Yeah. I would be curious to know the format that this deal would be happening in, but to me, it's just I feel like I'm getting maybe 80% of the upside in terms of I get the best landing spot receiver that is, potentially a top 10 pick versus Love, like 80% of like my expected dynasty value return. And man, Kenneth Walker, Chiefs running back, big contract. Like I just, it's not a nothing piece, like if it was, whatever, we're doing like a pick swap. Yeah. I mean, pure running back. I mean, running back makes it kind of interesting. And that's like, I think that was the most interesting part of the deal.
Judkins in the 102.
Judkins is tough coming off the injury. I don't know, man.
Kenneth Walker is RB 13 and Judkins is 14.
This is tough because I'm going to talk myself into the same kind of thing I'm talking about with production. If you give me Chase Brown, if you give me Kyron Williams, once we start getting to like maybe like the Javonte range of just like, I don't expect like the dynasty value to meet the production the way that I think it could with Kenneth Walker, then you could talk me into it. But I don't know. I think honestly, maybe Kyron and up, and maybe I'm just not as on the.
I think too, it's like a mental thing, right? Of like, it's coming off the back of the Ginty deal, where you're like, he was all right, but he wasn't irreplaceable. And then it's also the production you're getting, right? You're like, I'm trading up for a running back, and I'm also trading a productive running back plus my 102. And you're like, wait a minute, what if I just kept my productive running back? It's kind of like, it's not like you're going from a tight end or a quarterback or something. Like, you're just tearing up on a position that you're already kind of solid at, especially with Kenneth Walker landing where he did, having the playoffs he did as well. I mean, his value has never been higher. I'm not against moving off of a Kenneth Walker. I'm probably just going to look to maybe tier down to say maybe a Javonte and see what I can get on top.
Right.
Versus saying, let me oversell. Now, that being said, what pick would you add to Kenneth Walker to go up to the 101? Is it like, hey, if it was a 104, I'm in?
Yeah, you've talked me a little bit into, I do like all these wide receiver prospects. I think if we're starting to look at, depending on the format, like that 106, maybe even 105, if I really don't want to be stuck taking Mendoza, depending on the format. One thing I'll add to this note, and this is bad podcasting, okay? But we are flawed. Underdog right now. Jeremiah Love is the RB9 pick 16 for next season. All right, this is really bad podcasting. Kenneth Walker, RB10, just a couple picks behind in ADP, and that's just one season. Half PPR expectations for next season. So you're getting the rookie wide receiver first bet. What about you? What pick? Before I hit this keep pounding message from Jake, I'm interrupting my pass over to you. What is good, Jake? How you doing? Sup, guys? Got promoted to let's go. We fly high, no lie.
Shout out Dynasty Jake.
Ballin'. PSL season tickets go into effect next month. You getting season tickets for your Panthers? Let me know when you're ready to buy, Jeremy.
I've never gotten season tickets, but I've been to a bunch of games. I do know PSL owners though. I think the hard part is like playing fantasy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go to every game.
I'm probably the worst. Like, fantasy football has ruined how I watch football, but in like the best way. Like, I have every single game on at all times.
It's TikTok brain. It's overstimulation.
Yeah. Good thing I've been training it
for 5 seconds.
I think all these reels and TikToks and I'm watching Subway Surfers while I'm learning about the political climate. Like, I think this is all good for Will's football watching. There we go. Pumpkin spice latte season all year long. And shout out.
I will say you mentioned the Subway Surfers. It is so funny, all those Subway Surfers things, and it's like it's so on the nose sometimes. You're like, why are you talking about this with Subway Surfers or like a Minecraft parkour? But then you kind of get sucked into it, so I get it.
I appreciate it. And shout out to Big DS for landing some planes. I would join. Let's go. You know what? Maybe not a mock.
Are they actual planes? Are they actual planes, or is it like?
You think he's got a flight simulator going on?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
No, I think we got an air traffic controller here, and honestly, shout out to TSA. We need those planes to be landing, and people to be getting boarded onto those planes. I don't know if you've seen those lines. Didn't think we talked about
some of those crazy lines. I'm trying to get. I'm like, when's the next time I have to go fly? And I'm like, hopefully this.
Ooh, I got
get itself sorted out.
August, I have to go to Minnesota. They'll figure it out by then, right?
You could just take the bus. It's close.
You know, Diaz has been landing a plane while like middle of a contract or a trade negotiation, or he's trying to trade back out of his 4th round pick in a startup.
He's trying 100%. To get a 3rd for Tyron Tracy, and he's like, "Hold on,
he's got one.
do another loop. We're gonna delay your flight. I got to respond to the sleeper DM."
Ooh, I will always talk about Bucky Irving. Is Bucky Irving starting to become a buy? What's up, Dynasty Savvy? He unexpectedly fell to the 509 in my startup, and I couldn't pass that up despite my concerns. Is this his new price? We should you took him in was it the 4th round in our startup?
I think so. I did, and I got flamed.
Oh yeah. Well, it was to be fair, I think it was like 2 individuals that were potentially the same person on 2 accounts doing the flaming. I do too many mocks for thumbnail purposes to like get the little like player things that I can then go in and edit pictures. I could never find the actual mocks that we do. I think it was the 4th round. I'm pretty sure.
I did. I took him in the 4th. I mean, I talked about Bucky a little bit earlier. I mean, I think he kind of is a buy in my opinion, right? He's down 5% on Dynasty Daddy in the past month. He's down 6% on KeepTradeCut. He kind of falls within that RB13 range, but the players around him aren't the most interesting in terms of actual dynasty centerpiece upside, right? You're talking Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown, Saquon Barkley, Breece Hall, Judkins, Henderson. Like, to me, I think if Bucky has a bounce back year this year, he'll get shot up into the top 7 again in terms of how people feel about him. He won't touch the Gibbs tier or whatever, but like you kind of have to have a perfect profile to actually do that. But I think what we saw the first year was very impressive, and there's a reason why last year wasn't good, and he just was banged up. He had like that weird shoulder issue. So I think it's reasonable to say, hey, like if I can get Bucky for a reasonable price, I'm going to do that and at least kick the tires on it. And some of these are amazing. I mean, like this deal, Amarion Hampton for Bucky Irving and 27 first-round pick. Like a tear down like that is amazing. The 107 and the 303 for Bucky Irving, I would take that any day of the week. Would you do a mid-2027 first for Bucky? I feel like everyone's so stingy about their 2027s.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not a terrible trade. 12-team, Superflex, start 11.
Yeah.
Full PPR.
I'm with you on the Bucky. I mean, he's like still like within the RB11, RB12. like running back buys are always tough, and I know the Kenneth Gainwell spook paired with the Sean Tucker coming back, but I just don't want people to forget like the shoulder stuff last year was not just coming back from an injury. Like there was some weird stuff, and it would not surprise me at all if a part of it was, there was some stuff behind the scenes that we didn't get to see in that locker room or with the coaching staff where, they don't want to ram Bucky Irving into, the offensive line, 3 times in a row like they did with Sean Tucker.
That's true. They
to
didn't
not
have
score against the Saints.
Wirfs for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure at the start of the season with some of that production. I just think, like, to me, dude, I will buy good NFL players till the day I die. And Bucky Irving is that. And regardless of who's in the backfield with him, Rachaad White, Kenneth Gainwell, Christian McCaffrey, you're getting the ball to Bucky Irving. No Mike Evans as well. And speaking of Mike Evans, we got some Mike Evans questions. Look at that transition. That's way better than going to Elijah Moore transition-wise. Oh, wait a second. Before I transition, choosing between Bucky and Zay Flowers. Will's 2. Okay, not Love Child's. Think about a better phrase than that. I do love Zay, man.
The phrasing is something. I'll say.
I did find the mock, by the way. 404.
I think the biggest thing is there's very few dynasty upside running backs, I think, out there. I think Bucky has that. Whereas like Zay is priced in my opinion. He put up a wide receiver 7 season. He's still getting priced like 2 seconds. Like he's the Devonta Smith, T. Higgins range of player, which is good, and they're good to have, but they're never going to go up in value and be valued as like a player that people really want. And 2, the scarcity of elite difference-making running back production is a lot harder than someone like a Zay Flowers production, usually. Like, obviously, last year was a little bit of an outlier, but Zay Flowers has always kind of been in that wide receiver 2 range, and there's a lot of guys that pop up from, Michael Wilson, Parker Washington. Like, there's all these random guys that will pop up and have stretches of valuable wide receiver production that you can get for a lot cheaper. Whereas Bucky Irving, it's a lot harder to get Bucky upside. Like, you can get the I was going to use the Sean Tucker, but that's probably not the best example because he's had a couple crazy breakouts weeks when no one else was there. But when you usually get the handcuff running back stepping in, it's not like an amazing breakout type of production that makes a huge difference. So I usually like the lean of like, can I get one of those borderline bell cow upside running backs more than a Zay Flowers prototype from a fantasy football context?
Yeah, and the last Bucky call out, and I think these are great. It talks about getting CMC at the 604. These call outs, the concerns over Gainwell and Tucker seemed baked into the Bucky's price. I mean, you look at, the what have you done for me lately vibes that I think get pushed into, like, people remembering the goal line role potentially getting taken away, and how productive was he? Dude, this role that people are worried about, 17 carries, 2 targets, 15 carries, 2 targets, 16 carries, 3 targets, 19 carries, 9 carries this Miami game, 6 targets, 26, 2 targets. Like, that is a role with somebody of Bucky's talent, especially Mike Evans. Like, I am totally fine to buy 100% at that. What was it? Was it the 5? Is it the 5th round? 509. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
give me that.
Too, like, beginning stretch pre-injury, he was dropping 12 points, 15 points, 11 points, 23 points. Then was banged up, came back in the year. Also, Baker Mayfield had crazy regression from the first half of the year to the second. He was in MVP talks. Everyone's like, oh, MVP. He had that amazing, I think it was a Monday night game or Sunday night game, like prime time, clutched it out. Everyone's like, Baker MVP, and then just fell apart. So you're also saying he's coming back into a situation where Baker's potentially hurt or whatever's going on with him. Offensive line is a little banged up. Mm-hmm. And, he is also banged up. And he doesn't put up amazing numbers. Like, I'm all right. Like, I'm all right. Let's re-roll the year. I believe in the talent, and typically it's a good situation offensively.
Yeah.
Plus, you get that NFC South schedule.
True.
And I know Dynasty Jake's in here. all those defensive signings, Panthers defense might not be a cakewalk anymore, but the other defenses probably will be.
Yeah.
Especially with the James Pierce Jr. stuff going on. You might not have a edge rush for the Falcons.
Yeah. Man, we didn't talk about I pulled up all the new. I got the signings. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Puka, but I just think that people should be. That's a monitor of the situation. Yeah, well, wellness check is a good.
I'm like, I thought we already did this of like maybe don't say like offensive stuff and then like bite somebody.
Yeah, they got to do some NFL training on that or something.
You need to like bubble wrap them.
Yeah, I'm gonna end by saying allegedly and pretending that means that it didn't happen, even though. All right, all good. Everyone, just we got a long time to the NFL season. Let's I'll end on that.
So I guess JSN's a wide receiver 1 now.
Right. 0 wide receiver in the startup draft, and I'm loving it. Yeah, I do think it's startups. There are times too where I think you can really start to feel people wanting to fill out their starting lineup, and like starting that 0 wide receiver can feel uncomfy. But when people are, really, really pulling up that kind of like third tier receivers, and you just get to sit back and take like, wait, this is a contending team, and Devontae Adams is on the board, and because all these people, used all their picks and traded first to move up to, take every single receiver from T. Higgins through Jameson Williams through DK Metcalf. Like, I'll just snag up that Wan'Dale Robinson, that Michael Pittman. Maybe not.
I will say too, like, I'm less inclined like to take a wide receiver early, like you said, unless it's like the first round or so. When I get kind of I could be a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy, like Jamar Chase's, Puka, when he's on the field, not off the field, JSN, those types of players. I think they are worth it, and they're true war difference makers. But we've seen the past couple of years that middle class of wide receivers is very big. So I don't want to be like, oh, it's third round, gotta double tap that T. Higgins, because 2 rounds later you're going to be getting Zay Flowers and other guys, and you're like, wait a minute, like they're going to score probably within 20 points of each other. Like, why am I taking them 3 rounds earlier? And I just get an itch, like when you think of all the formats, like I want to kind of zag if I can. Right?
Yeah.
If all these teams are taking wide receivers, taking different players, like if I go a no wide receiver build, it might not work out, but my team will be in a differently constructed than everyone else in the league. That gives me a different way to kind of play that market.
Yeah. And this league, specifically is start 2 wide receivers each week. So like the value that you should put into that in a startup, definitely you're doing the right thing. Shout out to Diaz. Didn't pull these up, but at the airport, prayers up. Take the Greyhound.
Take the Greyhound.
They just got to get that fab. I think that was the deals.
They got to have an Amtrak, right?
Yeah.
Just hop on the train.
Sorry, I got a little dizzy there. All right. How should we be viewing running back Tyler Algier and the very questionable Cardinals offense? Also, what's up, Hunger Force? Higher or lower than most of the 26 RB rookie class? To me, if I was forced to slot in Algier in terms of like dynasty value running back, he probably would be my RB3. And that is in terms of like RB2, we could get a second round. I know Price is getting some like first round buzz, but we could get some day 2 running back that gets a good landing spot. But if I had to guess, my assumption would be that RB3 and on, we're kind of talking about, we're talking ourselves into, let's hope this guy finds a role in this committee backfield. Like, I'm not anticipating us to get Jonah Coleman smash landing spot kind of thing that people are steaming him up and too high above Algier.
Yeah, I think Algier got a good contract. Like, it wasn't like backup money where you're like, oh my gosh, he only got $3 million or something.
Connor took the pay.
And I do think outside of the Love, like the only thing is like if the Cardinals go crazy and say we're going to take Love, like outside of that, I think Algier will have a healthy role in this offense. I'm not too concerned. I think he's a pretty good buy. We did a mock draft last week, and Algier fell super late. And I was like, this could be like next year's Javonte, where you're like, oh my gosh, like I should have just taken the guy that we've seen do it. I mean, before Bijan, Tyler Algier, I believe, had 1,000 yards. Like he's put together solid years. So I do think he's certainly underrated. And some of it is draft uncertainty, but he's just not a flashy style of running. And he's on a team that no one really likes. And he's been a handcuff to the best running back in the league. So there's a lot of reasons why I get people overlooking him, but the opportunity's there.
Yeah. All right. This is I think this is going to be the last bag. All right. They're in here. I see the green dots, guys. We are still 6 people. Are there 6 of you that want to do the auction mock? Or are you just shut me down? Let me down easy.
Can you shorten, like, can you shrink it? Can you just make it 6 teams? Like, can you modify?
Wait, did we lose somebody? Oh, wait.
I think it bumped me. It's fine.
Okay. I was going to say. All right. I'm going to answer a question. We'll get this started. Let me know. Say, hey, I want to be the 7th and 8th team, and we'll get it started. But a good old 16 league. Nothing wrong with that, right, guys? This will be a value exercise. Now, F it, right? Let's go. Make your nomination while we're going through these. We'll knock this out quick. This is a value exercise, so that Will doesn't have to make another thumbnail. Also, is now the time to start? You can have them. We only get 2 bench slots. You're going to use one on Tyler Algier. I'm utilizing the format.
Come on, no. We get 16, 2 bench spots. What is this?
QB2,
there we go. Got Kyle to take the $3.
Drake May and Caleb Williams don't want to evaluate 100% Hunger Force. I am very much a proponent of you do not need to hold 3 starting QBs that hold value. Like turning that into equal running back production. And worst case scenario, you feel uncomfortable and you have to buy Joe Flacco, Mac Jones, one of these quarterbacks that is randomly starting for certain weeks. Or, hey, you know what? What does Geno Smith, Jets quarterback, cost me because I have to play him because Drake May's on bye or Caleb Williams is hurt? So, yeah, I definitely am willing to move. Honestly, any of those quarterbacks. Ooh, some Malik Willis. All right, we have $500, guys. This is it's a little skewed. This might be the worst auction. Is it a net negative content wise to be doing what we're doing right now? Let me know. I'll take $16 Malik Willis. All right, you can have them. There's only like 18 quarterbacks that are going to get drafted.
That's true. Yeah.
So, there you go. You got your QB1. Here are my picks so
Malik
far.
Willis, baby.
109. Ooh, rookie 101.
I'm going to build a
Powers, Walker, Purdy, Bucky, CMC.
Poured all the quarterbacks with my 2 bench spots.
This is a fun contending start. Powers, Walker, Purdy, Bucky, CMC. What would you get? Jeremiah Love? 500. I like that. And there's just so many. We talked about it. I'm gonna click over here while I make a $69 bid on Puka Nacua. But we looked at this, man. Look at all these receivers in this like 10th through, honestly 9th through like 13th range. Mike Evans, QJ, Michael Wilson, Parker Washington, Dubs, Josh Downs with no Michael Pittman, Chris Godwin, even DK in the 11th round. Xavier Worthy in the 11th round. Antonio Williams, the 13-1. I got sniped on that. Like there is just so many receiver shots.
Antonio Williams.
Hey, shout out to D-Hop. DeAndre Hopkins said one of his favorite receivers in this class, Antonio Williams. Me and D-Hop, we know ball. What did Puka go? $100 Puka. Dang.
That's the discount.
That's the... Ooh, Makai Lemon.
I always feel like the rookies are like the tough ones to value when you're doing like drafts, but especially when you're doing auction, because you're like, I'm committing to kind of a wild card.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get the big the big boys off the board. Okay.
Josh Allen.
We got limited slots here.
Who would want that?
All right. Good evening, gents. What's up, Subtitle Chip? Sister's got engaged. Tell her congrats. Just show her this clip in the live stream.
I love the Subtitle Chip.
Yeah. What's going on in the life? Congrats on the engagement.
Of our 6-team auction.
Wishing you a happy marriage.
You can do Cameo.
Make sure you sub to the channel, smash the like button, and
fill out a March Madness bracket.
Yeah. Ooh, $500. Get a 130 Josh Allen there. I can work around it. All right. Then the question. I traded Tootin 3 weeks ago for the 201. Should I scream into a pillow or did I actually not lose out on that much value? Cope, Superflex PPR. You definitely lost out on perceived value. Now, there's a very real possibility that week 3 hits and we're all talking about the Tootin roll has to increase. There's no way they're going to keep giving LeQuint Allen these long down and distance snaps. And, Chris Rodriguez has not had that great of a success rate at the goal line. We're going to get that. You're missing out on Tootin being worth a random future first for sure. Which I'm sure we see some Tootin for our first deals go down in some leagues. Oh, I will
say Tootin right now, Dynasty Daddy values are between the 110 and the 111. So you trade him for the 201. What's the difference between 201 and the 110? You didn't lose a ton of value. You are not shooting for the upside that potentially exists with someone like a Tootin if he does hit, but I don't think it's anything I would be sweating. You cashed out at a pretty decent price, and you might get next year's player that gets valued like a Tootin. So,
yeah, this class makes it kind of tough when you do the comparisons. But I don't think it's like you said. I don't think it's terrible. I'm not locking Tootin into RB2 production. Lock it in. Chats are taking love. Book it. Oof. This kind of message gives me war flashbacks of all the Breece Hall that I used to have and moved off of.
I think it's the airport. It's just the airport's just getting to Diaz.
Breece Hall is the one player
Jets on his mind
that I have one share of, 0 to 1 shares of that I will root for success. I want Breece Hall to get the Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs next year. That's my.
Well, I'll always say Breece Hall was the first show we ever did. We barely ever talked in person, and Will's like, "I'm dying on the Breece Hall hill," and I don't know if it worked out or not, but
I died.
Yeah. I think we all died. We all died on Breece Hall.
12 team. Okay, start 11 with 2 wide receivers is interesting. I'm assuming a ton of flex spots. I mean, that makes getting discounts on Bucky and CMC types a lot worth it. If you just look at what WAR's going to look like in that league, you only have to start 2 receivers. Smash running back production is going to win out versus, Jameson Williams spike weeks. Shout out JMO though.
Well, I think we're going to have to figure out how to do some analysis on the.
I was kind of hoping we'd get a trade question so that I didn't have to do a 6-team start 10. Oh, we got the 12 by 10 in the corner too. I made a new overlay for this because I was like, oh, we got a lot of space we can work with since we're just doing them. You get to see the full teams a little bit clearer. Brutal. Fine with my 2 starting wide receivers being Mike Evans and Wandale or something completely unsexy like that. And the funniest thing about that being unsexy, look at Mike Evans and Wandale last season. In terms of production and actually what that gave you, that is equally difference making to the guy that's taking T. Higgins and, Carnell Tate super high in the startup in terms of production for 1 year. And you've got the Bucky CMC production bets too. All right, maybe the convo is like the player values. Maybe. Right now we got Chris Olave. Barely.
I think I might have gotten fleeced
on the $100 Puka. Once you saw $82 Jefferson. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. I was gonna say you can't feel too fleeced on Puka. All right, this is kind of
Puka. I mean, Puka to me, I'm like, with $500, you have to fill out the team.
I was gonna bid on that. That's a good price on Olave. In this format with only 6 other teams.
In this format.
All right, give me Jane Daniels.
Talk about all those 6-team leagues out there.
I'm gonna try this. So let me have them, guys. All right.
I do want to have a bid where someone bids like too high and then just sits all the way around.
I've never seen. So what happens if I do this? Oh, it doesn't let you go above your max, which makes sense. I've never utilized the sleeper auction other than earlier this week when I was like, what does this actually look like? I've like seen it, but I've never been inside of one that's been live mocked. What are your initial thoughts looking at this in terms of how it would feel for an actual, maybe that's the analysis. How would you feel in an actual Dynasty startup doing an auction like this, sitting down, and because of how large the roster sizes are, this has got to be like a 4 or 5 hour commitment, or maybe you pause it and you're doing it in two to 3 spurts because you can't do the 8-hour timer, obviously.
That's like the hard part with auction drafts. It is kind of like you kind of have to monitor the whole thing. It's like very time consuming as a draft format.
Yeah.
To me, it's always just like not blowing my wad too early and like holding my cash. Like my strategy is like I shouldn't really win anything for the first 2 rounds or like at least round 1, because someone is going to bid like $150 on a player that I'm like, that person shouldn't have gone. Like
yeah.
And then I can kind of figure out how do I want to construct the rest of my roster.
Yeah,
that's my biggest advice I have for the auctions I've done is just like basically tie your hands behind your back for the first round and a half, and then you just don't have to worry about
I think
accidentally dropping $100 and not valuing players properly.
And I think you get a good feel. Like, yes, there's a chance that you miss out on like your tier. Like, let's say you're like, I really want to get one of these top receivers. Like, there's a chance that if you are patient like that, you'll miss out on something like that because you feel like you're priced out of what you want to do based off of that strategy. But you do kind of get. I feel like at least in the redraft auctions I've done, more often than not, the early bidders end up feeling regretful for the prices they paid for players versus later in the draft, the value money you get, right? If this were to be 12 teams with 20 roster spots, we would get to the end and I would be getting Chris Godwin for $1 and everyone would be like, dang,
yeah,
like Will still got money. Chris Godwin for $1, that's crazy.
Yeah. That when you could bid $2 and everyone else can only bid $1, and you're just $2 on this player and this player and this player and this player, and you build out a team of all 5th and 6th round startup draft players because everyone just forgot to nominate them.
Yeah. All right. Diaz, honestly, true. Okay, 12 team, $1,000 budget. I do like that. But am I a genius by us doing a $500 budget with 6 teams? Kind of the same thing if you think about it, right? This is like an actual real startup.
That might be a big brain moment right there.
All right. This I'm at a loss for words. I've never been this stun locked in a stream. But we have a real question. A Dynasty Daddy site question. Hey Jeremy, yes. I don't want to be annoying, but I can't seem to sync my league's rookie picks for this season despite the draft order being set. Any advice? Says he's got it in one league, but not another, both sleeper leagues.
Yeah, I'm curious. My question would be, do you have 2 drafts? Because potentially it might be mapping to one of the drafts that already happened. But basically, if you just reach out to me in Discord or whatever, I can take a look at your league and see what's going on there. Because if it's impacting your league, it's probably impacting other people's as well. So I can definitely take a look at that.
Mm. Zach Wilson to the Saints. All right.
Saints are back, baby.
Let's go. Big for my shuck bags. They were one of those teams where I would not be surprised if like Kellen Moore really liked one of these like Nuss or Alar guys and took him in the 3rd round. Just to kind of do
the shuck hype is real. I will say the shuck hype is totally real.
Who won? All right, Neighbors, London, Chase Brown, or the 103, the 104, Burden, Devonta Smith, Gainwell. Oh, it's my turn to nominate.
Neighbors,
12
London,
teams start
Chase
11.
Brown. It is a deeper league, so you sit there and say, okay, the 103, 104, those are 2 solid picks. Burden, Devonta, Gainwell, that certainly fill out a lot of those flexes. I still want to lean side A, I think, just because London, Neighbors, you kind of lock in 2 top 10 dynasty wide receivers, and Chase Brown's also a solid performer or producer at the running back position. So, like, I still kind of lean side A, but I think it's pretty fair, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going. The interesting format. You're only starting 2 receivers, but when those 2 receivers are Neighbors in London. 12 by 11. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting that much in terms of like if there was one more piece on that side B side, I'd probably feel better about it in terms of like splitting up Neighbors in London. But the 103 and 104, as much as I like these wide receiver prospects, like I don't know, man. Neighbors in London. It's just something different. I'm going side A. Quick question about the Dynasty Daddy contender tiers. When are they updated?
So they're updated every day, but that's probably not what you're really asking. It's more about when are the values kind of officially rolled over to 2026. And currently they're not, but it's kind of it has to wait until my sources update. And I use FantasyPros. For the offseason ADP, they have a best ball ADP that will have this ticking in my ear is gonna make me like go crazy.
Oh, I'm an insta mute.
I clicked the mute and it didn't do anything. Okay.
Oh,
sorry. But I use the best ball ADP from FantasyPros, and I pull all those. They integrate from a bunch of different sites. So once those officially start rolling out, and we'll start seeing that soon as draft season happens, then that's when we will actually see those update with values that kind of align more. That being said, they're not crazy off because it uses a lot of, it's like a mixture right now. Some of these sources aren't updated, some of them are. But yeah, I mean, that's something I do want to improve. And if I have some time, I want to see if there's a way to kind of, I'm not used to having as many people using the site in this weird February, March range where like a lot of the data sources aren't updated. So it's like, oh, what's happening here? Like, why is the data look weird? And it's just like, we're not in the full swing of things in terms of 2026 data.
And it's probably tough to like pre-rookie drafts too, where like some of those picks, once those turn into actual players, like the team that adds Jeremiah Love and like the boost you get from his actual player, best ball, FantasyPros value versus, the pick that's just sitting on that team. All right, I did. This is we're gonna peel back the curtain for a minute. It was a risky text to Jeremy. Hey man, what do you think about doing an auction mock? We got a couple streams where we could do some rookie mocks leading into the NFL draft. What if we tried the auction?
Will.
Hey, sometimes you swing, and it's a miss. Sometimes it's a foul ball, and I don't know. Sometimes it's whatever this is.
A miss yet. This ain't a miss.
No, I already.
What's better than this?
My third please.
A 6-team startup. There's nothing better than this.
Okay, we're letting Patty
Mills out here.
I looked away for a second. He's got a JSN Neighbors Chase team. All right, I guess I'm gonna bid on Bijan here.
A $23 Tyson as well.
Nah, my $28 lemon. That's the true value. Wait, why didn't it let me do?
Now I feel like my $51.
Oh, too slow.
Olave's some trash.
I'll trade you. I'll trade you after the startup. We'll talk.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk after the mock draft. Yeah, we'll make a trade.
We'll update you guys. Join the Discord so you can see the updated teams after Jeremy and I make our Chris Olave trade post auction mock. It won't let me join the draft again. Dang, sorry, bro. This Tyler Algier, Justin Jefferson, Brock Bowers team. You got a strong start.
Wait, you can't rejoin, so we're just gonna.
Hey, my team.
This is we're going down with the ship here.
It'll go quicker if there's one less team bidding.
The freaking ticking sound.
It's still. Oh, this is. I can't believe it's not a swing and a miss for you. All right, here's what we're doing. I made an executive decision. At the very least, we're eliminating both the bench spots. Oh no, I eliminated something else. All right, one of you may have lost a player in your team. Possible. No complaints. No complaints. No mutinies against the commissioner for changing the format mid mock drafts. Okay.
It's mid mock draft. You know Will would be furious if this was his actual draft.
I would be pissed. Shout out to Dylan. I did. Okay, I've grown up though. I sent Dylan. This is my home league. I sent him a message and I said, "Hey man, can you let me know where in the bylaws it says how the 106 versus the 107 pick gets determined? Because they both lose in the first round, and then obviously it doesn't matter what happens to those teams."
You mean
107, 108. 107, 108.
108. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
And I mean, obviously I'm inquiring because I lost in the first round and had the 108 pick. But he was like, yeah, man, I don't know. We can vote on it this offseason. And a couple years ago, Will would have probably thrown a little fit and, requested the vote happen immediately long term to potentially move up to the 107. But I grew up and ended up trading the 108 in a deal for Chris Olave. So there we go. I'm the bigger man.
That's big. You're turning the other cheek.
Yeah. We'll see if it helps me in the future. I have a less fun rookie draft though. I should have thought about that before making that trade. Do you consider that at all when you do your home league? That it's just more fun in the home league.
I do my home league in person too. We do a draft trip.
Oh yeah.
And it's those picks. You just want to actually make them when you're there. And I planned the trip and I've never had a pick that's not a 5th round pick or something. So I'm this year I do. So I'm now I actually get to make a pick and feel like I'm being involved in it. So I do think it's a factor in the league where you are in person.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it a little bit different. Where it's if it's one of my leagues with people that we just do post NFL draft, it's okay,
8-hour timer.
I'm more okay just not having a first. But when I have to sit there with everyone and watch everyone take all the players that are cool and fun, and I'm stuck with one share of some backup tight end for the Titans, I'm okay, maybe I should have kept some of my. I miss it now.
Shout out Gunnar Helm. I love Gunnar Helm. All right, nomination. Let's get some money off the board. What a strategy here. Already got my 2 quarterbacks. Who wants Jalen Hurts? Come on, guys.
You have $43.
Yeah, I'm gonna get $30 Jalen Hurts. and then be done with the mock, and I can focus on Kyle and Diaz in the chat. I'm back now. What's good? Welcome back. 12 team with CPU, 30-second clock. Shout out to my older brother. I don't think he would do this now, but the first offseason I got him into Dynasty, he would like show me his teams that he would mock with the like sleeper CPUs for like Dynasty startups, and I was like, brother, literally, brother, this is not how things are gonna shake out. Team looks great. You would dominate the league with those computers.
Hey, that's where we're gonna be heading when everyone just automates everything with it. Hey, it's like, why are we even playing fantasy anymore?
Cloud bot, Dynasty Daddy bot. Who should I pick here? And it's
we'll have the
Jeremy's AI brain telling you who to pick.
Just plug in automate my lineups, automate my trades.
Automate my trade negotiations.
Yeah, if you could completely automate trade negotiations and everything, and you just show up and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I made these 3 trades.
All right, idea that we're not gonna do. I made a Dynasty startup with 12 different AI bots, and they all you get like you make them act like they're people, and they are like making fun of each other in the chat. It's a banger video.
Honestly, idea. I wouldn't hate the idea of like, what if we did that? Like in the background, we just like put like everyone's just we just copy and paste into like Gemini or Quad Code or whatever, and be like, what does it spit out?
You could now I would want to get the intellectual property from like Scott Connor and Ray and Shane and everybody, but you could like create a persona based off of all the content you can find that came out of this person's mouth, and it is like AI Shane, AI Scott, AI Will, AI Jeremy, all in this league. That is a Black Mirror episode that no one should ever watch, but yeah, maybe 3 years from now this will already have been done, and this will be a funny thing to. Yeah, remember when I came up with that idea? Somebody else did it, and it was not as entertaining.
I think it's honestly going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. There's definitely going to be like AI something like that.
Ooh, you could. I let AI control my Dynasty team. Send out trade offers. All right, I don't think this is the right time. I think maybe we hold off on what we were gonna share, and I just leave it as we got big things coming. What do you think, Jeremy? Because I think
that works.
The thing that is coming is awesome, and I do not want it to be wasted. An hour 37 minutes into a 6-team auction mock startup. Lord knows who is. If you're here right now,
I accidentally won 3 quarterbacks.
Leave a comment on the YouTube chat. I will give you a heart. I will answer your trade question. Say I was here. A minute 38 into the stream.
Yeah, I mean, if you make it through, if you make it through this, you can make it through anything. You know.
True.
This is like one of those amazing Thursday night games where it's like like 9 to 14.
Yeah. What was that? Dude, it was like the Bears Seahawks or something. Gino, it was like a rain game, and it was like 9-6 or something. This is what's happening right now. I kind of want to check myself and see how accurate I was on that. Oh, Gibbs. Wait, I don't have Gibbs money. $43? All right, nobody bid. Dang it. I made my bed. I made my Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson bed. Honestly, if we're going to analyze the startup, well,
I think me having 3 quarterbacks is a huge advantage here.
Hurts Caleb Willis. I don't know, man. You got to read the format.
It's 16.
It's a 16 league, man. I'm going to have Baker Mayfield on waivers. Oof.
Oh, man.
That was big of you, Will. Defca host. Thank you. Thank you, Dynasty Savvy. I appreciate that.
I feel like this is a great thing to have the live stream asks have to wait for the auction draft to the end.
Do we have some? I didn't see any pre-stream. Do we have some in there?
I think Big Diaz.
All right, I'll get it set up on
Big Diaz posted 2, and we also have.
Aren't you on the clock, Diaz?
2.
You're posting 2 live stream asks.
We have 2 in live stream asks as well.
Okay.
And so we have 4.
All right. I'm gonna do it on. I'll get these all set up. You're in charge of analyzing. Diaz, you're on the clock. Live stream S Club should probably get first priority, but you're a good guy. I know you'll be watching this all the way through. Buke, we gotta hit our Bukey boy. Wait, I don't even have the right
Bukey boy.
Yikes! My bad, guys. You're missing the content. That's my bad. Wait, really? I knew there was they messed around with some AI stuff in terms of like fantasy market value. I think that was last year. I had listened to some stuff on that.
Who does?
Interesting. He says Scott Connor is already using AI to run a league.
Yeah, and I think AI has gotten a lot better. I'm hesitant to see how up to date it is, right? Like how current is AI with the data that actually impacts like player values and what decisions we want to make and things like that.
Versus
it can analyze a ton of data. Yeah, like it can analyze a ton of data. That's interesting, but I don't know if it can stay up to date on the important information, I guess.
Yeah. All right. We are going to absolutely hammer these live stream asks, guys. Don't worry. I'm getting them all ready. While whatever, this is why I spent all my money, so that I can just kind of be in the background. That's why I have a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson team.
Yeah, you don't want to do the draft of the year, man?
No, I think I'm just gonna trade. I'm gonna save my money, get some value at the end of the draft, and then I'll hit the trade market after.
We'll always in the sleeper DMs.
Are you do you feel like post first year startup you see trades happen out of the startup?
Post first year startup? What do you mean by that?
Like, yeah, that's a double.
Like in the second year of the startup, you have
right after the startup happens. If it's like after the NFL draft, I have to nominate somebody. All right, what do I need? Wait, I got Jeremiah Love. Let's go. When did that happen?
$70 Pickens is pretty good, to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of killing it, honestly.
I mean,
oof. No, you like your James Cook.
I need somebody.
All right, shout out to Dude
did
Crush.
Get this.
I got yours.
I've never messed with Dynasty Best Ball League. Is that a thing? Those are fun? ? Or is Best Ball relegated to redraft? I think Big Diaz will definitely vouch for the enjoyment of Best Ball. I've enjoyed Best Ball just because I'm in more leagues now. Dynasty Best Ball is a fun format. Yep. Too, and you don't have to worry about lineups, which is like when you have multiple leagues, like a lot of leagues, you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about player X, player Y. So that stuff is nice.
Yeah.
I definitely think if you enjoy Dynasty, if you enjoy the game, it's worth trying out. It's also slightly different in terms of the players you value. And I think that's kind of the fun part that is underrated about Best Ball is a lot of those Kenneth Gainwells or the random spike weeks, Parker Washington type players or Matt Collins even. Like those types of players are more valuable to roster. Whereas in a dynasty where you have to set a lineup, like when are you ever going to set at Matt Collins and feel good about that? Yeah. So I always I've enjoyed Dynasty Best Ball a lot, especially as someone that's fortunately/unfortunately been involved in way more dynasty leagues. my time management isn't always the best with them, and it's a lot easier for me to stay competitive with what is going on in the league, in the best ball league.
Yeah, it 100% different game. I echo all your sentiments with, if you ever feel like, oh, I'm joining too many leagues and like I love startups, but I don't know if I can handle having to dig through all these rosters, like not setting a roster and worrying about like your individual roster starting lineup for that week, I think is very underrated in terms of like time commitment to best ball versus lineup leagues. It is a different game though. I learned that very quick with first best ball league we did was the Charlie Daddy League. And speaking of Charlie Daddy, if you guys are interested, we're going to be doing some Dynasty Daddy Discord community startups. Link in the description to join the Discord if you're not in there. We'll be posting a Google form for everyone to fill out that's interested in potentially being in one of those. We did 3 last year. We had enough people to do 3. We'll see how many we have this year. But I know we already are getting a handful of people who are upset about how their March Madness bracket is performing in the Dynasty Daddy Madness free first 3 years paid for giveaway up to $500 value, that are already talking about wanting to be in the league regardless.
$100, $500 value. I'll say Hunger Force mentioned, thanks again for the earlier advice. Moved T-Law and Strange for Quinshawn Judkins and Brian Thomas Jr. Big upgrades for my team. You feeling good about the Brian Thomas Jr. situation still? Like, I think that's the biggest wild card to me, but yeah. I imagine, like, I think the T-Law downgrade, but kind of also upgrading at 2 positions. Now, they're a little bit more speculative in terms of, like, the players, but, yeah, I think the upside is way higher for both of them.
And, yeah, it being 2 bets is really nice. Like, if one of those was like just Brian Thomas Jr. and like the other piece was like a little less meaningful, I'd be a little bit more sketched out about it and try to see like, oh, what else could you get? But like worst case scenario, I think you're getting Judkins, who, okay, my bad guys, holding off on the nominations. This is embarrassing. Let's get cheap Chase Brown here. I think worst case scenario, you're seeing the value that Judkins is holding on a Browns team through an injury heading into next season, and he's hashtag good, and I always talk about buying hashtag good players. I'm with it. That was quick. That was pretty quick.
Dynasty Savvy said, I don't get the obsession with AI. Defeats the purpose of many things. I will say, like, I'm a software engineer full time. So AI is very much kind of targeting, and it's the mentality of a software engineer that has AI coming into your job field. It's like, we're so back and we're so over every second. It's like, oh, they're going to lay off everyone. It's like, oh, AI can't do what I do. So like, I get that. I think I kind of agree. Like, I get a little fatigued with a lot of it. It's certainly changed a lot of the ways I interact with my day-to-day job, and even more interact with things like Dynasty Daddy. And it does kind of take the joy out of certain things. And I hope it doesn't take over a lot of the fantasy football aspects, because you could totally run a team through fantasy football with AI, but then it's like, why am I even playing this game? If if you just want to have like an AI bot and you plug money in and see if you win, like just like get a like a robo trader for stock or something. Like, to me, it's like the game in making trades and you thinking about it. Like, that's the fun of Dynasty and fantasy football, and like cheering for the players, the decisions that you made. Mm-hmm. But some people also enjoy AI, and I do think like Jonathan said, yeah, AI is a tool, and it's part of it. It's a hard part as someone that solo develops a website. And then there's a ton of websites now propping up that are generated with AI tooling, and I have to stay competitive, and then also at my job. And it's something where it's like, I can be like a purist and be like, I only hammer nails with a hammer, but the guy that puts together a house with a nail gun is going to be able to put it together quicker. Now you might build some crap. You could build a much larger crap by just nail gunning a bunch of things together. But you still got to be able to move fast. So I think I go back and forth. It's kind of it's a we're so back and it's so over mentality every other hour.
Yeah.
Now, shout outs to Felrim said Dynasty Daddies is too good. Why would I want to play with people who have the best tool at their fingertips? I appreciate it.
True. Yeah. I love AI when it's telling me how I should be wiring my Wise doorbell chime box that I have to install by me taking a picture and saying help, please.
But what do I do with all these parts? They fail.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm very much in the I forget who it was. It was some kind of podcast talking about like AI in like the art field too, and like I think like fantasy football and games and enjoyment fall kind of into the arts, but obviously AI visual art is mostly what people are referring to. It's like, man, like that should be the human thing, like these like human. The arts, the games, enjoyment, and the AI should be like the tools for, making lives easier, jobs easier.
Folding laundry. That's where that's
Whatever happened to that AI robot that was supposed to like be your butler or something? Is that a scam? All right.
Now it's just running our fantasy team
over yet. I'm sorry. I've been
Jonah Coleman's up right now.
Oh God! All right, $2, Jonah Coleman. Give me him. I need an RB2 behind your.
Will's gonna be like, I'm never doing an auction draft again.
I actually think there's a world where this was fun. Oh, I got him. $2, Jonah Coleman. Let's go.
No, Jeremiah loves Jonah Coleman stack. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay young with my Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson room. Kind of makes sense to have a bunch of unproven, probably day 2 to 3 rookie running backs with those quick QBs.
I'm only allowed to bid on tight ends. So I have a $67 bid for tight ends.
$20 Rashee Rice. Oh my, $1 Luther Burden. I could probably look all around the board. I have not been following.
Look, this goes to show you, even in a weird format, when there's only like 10 players, like auction, unless you're playing with super savvy auction players, you're always going to have like Luther Burden for $1 and be like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah. All right. Is it time?
I know it's flying cars and jetpacks.
Are we hitting the live stream masks? Do I
we
have
can hit the live stream
Dynasty Daddy approval? All right. Thank the good daddy that's what's happening. All right. Shout out to Buke. We're getting you pulled up here.
Right. Did we ever discuss if it? Oh, we got another one. We got 5 of these.
I know. I'm ready though. I was cooking over there while you guys were getting $1 Luther Burden. I was setting up the chat messages.
Will's doing the while y'all were playing around, I was doing some real work.
Yeah. Well, you guys were doing your cute little 6-team auction mock. All right, Buke here. Thanks for another stream, fellas. And actually, real quick, thank you for the 4 individuals that spent their valuable time. We only have so many days on this earth, and you guys chose to spend a part of one of those days doing a 6-team auction mock with us, and that means more to me.
Hey, this is going to be something that is lore.
It's another
relic.
This
is some deep lore.
Right now, it's just sad. It will be funny.
Let's do another auction draft. Yeah.
Rookie mock next week, guys. An actual real thing people are interested in.
A normal one.
Thanks for another stream, fellas. Offered May Harvey Downs, the 206 and a 27 first for Achan Puka Tua. Was told he was looking just to move Achan, going to keep sniffing around the league to try to use one of May T-Law as a piece to grab some RB, hopefully. All right, and this is RJ Harvey, Charbonnet, Bill, Woody Marks, Aaron Jones, Tyron Tracy, sick receiver room. sick QB room. Definitely recommend. I think this is one I think we looked at. The Josh Allen, Drake May, T-Law team with that weak running back room. No picks in 26, all own picks in 27 and 28. Are you interested? So there was some buzz. I think it sounds like HN might be getting the extension with Gibbs and Bijan this offseason, heading this next year, staying in Miami. Is HN still a running back that you would kind of do the pay up RB price for? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but that's just the running back right now.
I'm a little lost. I was wondering if we wanted to convert this auction draft into a sleeper league.
Yes, definitely. We'll do $80 buy-in. Actually, let's just do the budget. $500 buy-in.
Yeah, $500 buy-in. That $1 Luther Burden's going to be paying dividends.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So sorry, what was your question?
So I'm gonna change the question. So right now the deal was gonna be like a pretty heavy May, Harvey Downs 206 and a first for HN Puka Tua was the initial offer. The response back was, I'm just gonna move HN. That's all I'm looking to do. Basically, get out of here. I'm not moving Puka right now. Just trying to move off the running back production. Are you interested right now? This is choose your own adventure right here, Jeremy. Do you want to take a look at an HN deal to add HN to this pretty solid team that could use some running back production? Or do you want to look around the league for potential other weak QB room? Give me a running back buys where you can move Trevor Lawrence or Drake May.
I'm kind of interested. I think the trade, like if he only wants to move A-Chain, I think a T-Law for A-Chain plus maybe a tiny piece on the Lawrence side wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be a doable thing, especially with some of the players you have, like Woody Marks, JCM. Like you might be able to sell a little bit high on some of these guys. And just basically do a 1-for-1 deal if that's something that would fit. So I'd probably kind of kick that around and be like, okay, T-Law, A-Chain, you like that deal? What do I need to add? Is there anything I could add that kind of tips the scales, like from I'm adding a small piece to this perspective? If there's other people that need quarterbacks with running backs, I'll have to take a look and see.
Yeah, this one doesn't really fall. The other thing I was going to consider, and I want to look at this first before we get into it, but honestly, with this kind of team, moving that 206, because the last thing I want to do is add another Woody Marks, add another Bill, add another Tyrone Tracy, Sean Tucker to this team. Like what I want to do is see if I can use this 206 and turn it into, whatever cheap running back production for this next year. And
I would say, I think my other option would be some of these frisky teams. So this team with A-Chain is a frisky team. Jane Daniels, Tua, McCarthy. So they certainly need a quarterback. There's another team that has Christian McCaffrey as a frisky team. And I could see maybe a CMC plus for Trevor Lawrence being some sort of package, like CMC in a third even, or, like just a little plus. But if you want to compete and be serious, a CMC in your lineup anywhere is going to be impactful. Now, obviously you run the risk of injuries and things like that. But it would certainly address the issue of I have Harvey and JCM and Woody Marks and Jones and players that I don't feel necessarily amazing about being part of the backbone of my team trying to make a run.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. What can the 206 give me? I'll at least do that, because I like I said, I think that's the other angle outside of because I think the T-Law, I think you could. It sounds like there is a potential T-Law HN deal. If like the first package with the Puka was at least warranted a response that was like, I'm just moving HN, I think potentially you could do some kind of T-Law HN deal. So I think that one I would knock around. And then I think the 206, like what running backs do you can get for the 206?
J.K. Dobbins?
Interesting. I mean, Chuba on this team with Bucky, Chase Brown, Tootin. Like I would definitely see what kind of package would work with like a Chuba type, running back that doesn't. How about Rico? Like those kind of running backs that aren't exciting for people. And honestly, the way people construct them, like right here, Hampton, Kenneth Walker, Kyron, Rico's the RB4. 106, 204, 306. Bryce Young, like maybe this team is something with all these running backs that, T-Law is appealing to them as like a QB tier up. But I definitely would try to move that 206 for a running back just because you just don't, with this team, with this wide receiver room, I don't want to waste a Josh Allen, Drake May, JSN, Drake London, Nico, Michael Wilson, and then you've got Gadsden and Ferguson. Like this is a good team. And wasting it with like, yikes, I'm having to start 3 of RJ Harvey, Aaron Jones, Tyron Tracy. Like I'd love to get at least one hitter and potentially an Achane and a Rico added to this. That's like, okay, I've got pretty solid, consistent running back up weekly upside with how good this team is outside of it. Bang. And then I see out of the corner of my eye, this little twerp.
I was about to say.
Bijan Trey looking real bad for you that Brian Robinson's in town. Scan, shaking my head.
You got the wrong B Robinson.
Yeah, true. Oh, this guy. I did the breakdown. You must have missed my breakdown on the inside the 5 usage that we saw for Brian Robinson for the 2023 Washington Commanders. Oh wait, were they the football team? 2023, maybe. Not worth looking back and referencing that. But let us know, Buke, in the Discord, your thoughts. If you have any other ideas, would definitely be down to keep talking through that. Because I do think this team is like 2 good running backs away from being, this team is like killing every other team in the league. Because you got Josh Allen, Drake May, JSN, Drake London, Nico. And that's like the best thing about these kind of teams is like the pieces you have to move are not impacting your starting lineup at all. Like, dude, you could move like T-Law plus and get a stud running back potentially. You can move this 206 and get a Rico Chuba type. I'm down. The clown.
Down the clown.
Next up here. I'm ready.
Which one are you going to next?
Mary Effin Poppins, Dude Crush, one of the greatest because they actually joined the auction mock. I appreciate you. Is the fraud
you suffered with us?
And honestly, I feel bad because this question was asked. I read this question. I want you to let you know. The label is LABEL, and like the lab. I stared at label for a second. I should have been able to figure it out. Is the fraud label pretty accurate? And if so, who would you keep from here for the fire sale process? Caleb, Rome, Alec, and Terrence. Ferguson. Or just punt the tight end at this point. All right. Is this team a fraud to you? They do have the 105 and the 107. 3 firsts in 2027. You've got some pieces to move for sure if you want to turn this team around. What direction would you take this team, Jeremy? Caleb to a
I mean it out of the bottom of my heart. Someone that did join probably the most historic mock draft that will ever happen on this draft.
At least unique.
On this channel. Yeah, there probably will never be a mock draft that will be referenced more than the mock draft that you participated in. So I do really appreciate all that you've done for us at Dynasty Daddy. That being said, I do think this is a team that I would categorize as a fraud. What's boosting the value is you do have a ton of future value in your picks, right? 105, 107, 327 first.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff there. When I look at the roster, what centerpieces do you really have? And I think there's one in Caleb Williams and potentially a player I would want to keep in Rome just because they're going to be attached at the hip. And I can ride the Caleb Williams Rome stack. That's probably the only 2 players I'm like, I really would like to keep. All the other ones, I'm like, I don't think they fit my window, right? The Tua situation, I'm like, Tua Geno, I'm like, I'll sell him for anything. That kind of, if I can get future
Tua to the Penix owner. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the biggest moves for me is around Kyren Williams. I think he's probably the most valuable piece I'd want to move. Maybe Alec Pierce as well, but I don't know what you're going to really get from Alec Pierce because that contract doesn't really correlate to someone saying, yes, I'm going to give you a first-round pick for Alec Pierce.
Yeah, maybe
But I think Kyren Williams is the one that I would say, hey, I could probably move Kyren and maybe get a mid to late future pick somewhere. Probably not in 27, but still, you can start loading up on 28 because, 27s are just hard to get. And you already got 3 as well. And then I think this is a team where you roll in with Caleb Williams, with Rome. You take your picks at the 105, the 107. And maybe that is you get a Ty Simpson or whoever's at the 107 range, a Casey Concepcion. And the nice part here is you do have the 105, which will probably be like a Jordan Tyson. And then you have the 107, which will probably be in the KC, Denzel Boston, maybe Ty Simpson range. This is a team where I feel perfectly fine taking a wide receiver that might be injured for half the year as he figures out we don't know what's going on with Jordan Tyson. And we also take another wide receiver. Right? This is a wide receiver class, especially in the top 8 or so picks. And really your biggest weakness is probably just your wide receiver room doesn't have a ton of consistency outside of Rome, and even Rome hasn't been super consistent. So the fact that you can just kind of take best player available and it's going to slide into a meaningful role on your team potentially is nice. And then you can kind of look at running backs and some tight ends and those late. The tight end class, it is pretty deep. So I think if you take some of those 305, 307s, dart throws and certain tight end profiles, like a Justin Jolie or the Rush, or other guys like that, depending on where they fall, I think you might be able to catch a little bit of lightning in the bottle, being the next Fannin or the next Gadsden, or at least someone that has some sort of role that you feel decent about.
Yeah. The wonderful thing about coming to the Dynasty Daddy Tuesday night live stream on March 24th is like looking at this team.
6-person mock draft.
That's the number 2 thing. The number 1 thing is like you can set this team up to where that 2027 first that is your own. You already have 2 additional 27 firsts. You can lock that in and build this roster to where that is set up to be Jeremiah Smith. Like that, you can move off of Kyren, move off this production. Like your pieces that are going to score points, I think are interesting enough to people. Like I think Alec Pierce can be moved. Michael Wilson could be moved. And I wouldn't be too attached to, obviously, the obvious names like Aaron Jones and, even James Conner, Trey Benson to, the Algier
they don't
or whatever. Like they don't matter to you at all. And honestly, they hurt you more than they help you. So like whatever you can do, if it's tacking on some of these guys to the 305 and moving it for a future second, even if it's in 2028, that makes way more sense for your roster. So I don't get tied into, am I winning this trade? Get tied into, am I winning the roster construction with what I'm doing with my team? So like individual specific moves, like you can kind of do all right, let me look at these teams that are competing and which team can I move Kyren and get a future first or whatever. Just because the points that are being scored, like you look at this trusted process team, this team, I mean, they are getting Jeremiah Love here, but this team is set up to do what I'm telling you to do. They got Neighbors, Pearsall, Io Manor, Kenneth Gainwell, then it's Keaton Mitchell, Jordan James, CJ Stroud. Like, I want your team looking like this team in the sense of you're getting a bunch of 27 seconds for these players that we think are interesting and can be moved. And your running back room is not scoring points. Now, you don't have to move off of everything. Like we said, you don't have to move off of Rome. You don't have to move off of Caleb. Like, you can have players on your team, but do you need Geno on this team? Or is he just going to hurt your max points for? Do you need 2 on this team? Or is he just going to hurt your max points for if he's starting games at the start of the season for the Falcons? That's kind of what I would do pretty aggressively this offseason and in the rookie draft.
You got to go for the trust the process. I will say this is probably one of the drafts that you really want to just tank, because even if you don't want to take the pick, someone will sell their soul for that pick. And I mean, there's probably other people that are out there. I mean, you have a Choder who's probably already got the 101 kind of locked up, but still, with Arch Manning and all these other prospects, there's going to be a lot of hype around like the top 2 or 3 picks. So I wouldn't feel bad if you're like, oh, the best I can do is get the 102 because this guy is starting Taj Brooks as their RB3.
Yeah, and definitely utilize your taxi the right way. Like Jordan Tyson is fun to have on your bench, but it's a lot more fun to have on your taxi squad when you're trying to do.
Also, touch on this one point, this one question he had. The best time to trade picks is during the actual season. Now, with all the draft hype, kind of the worst time to acquire picks. I do agree. I think it's kind of a balance of like, how can, like what you said, Will, of like decreasing my max points for so I can get the best pick I can possibly get. But also, like someone like a Kyron Williams and a Geno. Like Geno might not have a crazy market right now for picks, but a team might be desperate week 5, week 6, when they need a quarterback and Geno's starting, or they need a running back, and people will start to fill it out more. So it's not something you have to do now, but I would try to actively sell a lot of these players that could potentially just be gnats, and that they constantly score 8 to 10 points and slowly push your team up from being a true, I'm going to bottom this thing out and just go ham on the best draft class in recent memory. And we'll say that about 2028 and 2029 and 2030 and every draft class, because every draft class is great before everyone stays for NIL.
Yeah. And like get to know these rosters. And this is kind of, I mean, this is a very loaded final comment before we switch over. I looked at this team and was like, hey, Mahomes coming off the injury. They got Jacoby and then no second starter. And like Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Marv, Parker Washington, maybe they only have to start 2 of these running backs. So like, David Montgomery and Scat feels not as spooky if we don't get a Giants running back or whatever in the draft. But like, all right, the reason this is a loaded response is I was going to say you target teams like this for Geno, where to them it's like it's a rental and they know it's only for a couple weeks. And it's pretty rare that you get a team that has like an injured quarterback that has a lot of value heading into the season. They do have the 103 pick, though, so maybe you want them to take Mendoza and you want to taxi, wide receiver or something with your 105 pick versus, Mendoza there. That was like not the best closer to this live stream ask, but the message I wanted you to take away was get to know these teams in the sense of who wants Kyron, who wants Geno. Like these pieces that don't matter for my timeline that would be interesting to these other teams. Because it's tough when you have another tanker and you're trying to move off of point scorers. You got the good experience. You know how to make your picks well. We saw that in the 6-person mock draft with the $1 Luther Burden bid. You know how to get value. You know how to find value in the draft. 100%. All right. Big Diaz CTE Higgins put Hampton on the block. Gibbs manager has been trying to get Hampton. Okay, wait, I'm confused now. I think this is a Diaz puts a thing and then makes it happen. Because I have 2 different Diaz teams that both have Gibbs and Hampton on them, and this is a what should I add to Hampton for Gibbs in this best ball format?
Do you remember the scandal that like someone found of like someone that like entered multiple leagues and then would trade to themselves?
No, I believe it though. It's a dark world we live in. There's some twisted individuals. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. Wait, no, hold up. Okay, wait. All right, good. We got the man here. I do have your other one. That was a Travion related question, I believe. 4 thin inches. Okay. All right, wait. Let me see if I have this one up.
I don't know what the context is there. Yeah, that's the league. That's the first one.
Okay. All right.
So it's the tier up from Hampton to Gibbs.
Wait, so this is not the league. Wait, this is it. He has Gibbs.
There's no trades.
Something's not adding up, D. Let me know. Let me know, Big D.
I don't know about this one.
It wouldn't be the first time that Big D has had a how do I make this happen, and then he made it happen, and we're like, yeah, good work. That's a great trade.
Two different leagues. Okay, so it's the other league. The other league
two
is
different 4th and inches.
Okay, hold on here. Both leagues you have Gibbs and Hampton.
All right, I'm gonna call a timeout on Big Diaz, and we're gonna hit Red. Red has a question with a trade that I can process in my brain.
Okay, I'll poke around with. Let's see.
All right. What have I done? Oh no. Don't worry about me. All right. All right. We are full screen.
Diaz is now like, wait, is it this one? Oh, my bad. Now I'm confused.
Yeah, this is why Diaz is pushing best ball.
I did it while I was landing my planes.
Yeah. All right. Finally, I'm prepared. All right, Red. You waited. Thank you for the live stream ask. This trade isn't great for my roster construction. Interesting start. I'm going to pull up the... Actually, I've got it right here. I can pull up this trade. This trade is not great for the roster construction. I was looking to drafting one of the 3 wide receivers at the 103, but do I take this trade for the value, win now, and worry about my roster later? We'll also take any recommendations while you're looking. If you have the time, we do. We didn't waste any time this stream doing a stupid 6-team auction mock. So we've got all the time in the world. Here we go. This is getting Drake London, the 112, a 27-second, and a 27-third for Garrett Wilson and the 103.
Interesting. What are your initial takes on that trade?
I do want peeking at the roster. I kind of. You have the 103, no seconds in this class. Your own picks in 27 and 28. Quinshon Judkins, Chris Rodriguez. It feels a little rich. I feel like the 103, I'm getting another bet at a potential. I don't want, I mean, you don't want to anoint players too, like production that we've seen from Drake London and dynasty value and some production we've seen from Garrett Wilson. But certainly the 103 will be a receiver that is drafted in a similar range to those players. Draft capital does not equal, past production that we've seen from other players, but it is the best tell for that. I think it's a little rich. Especially with this team too. Like Quinshon Judkins coming off the injury, Chris Rodriguez, talking about like the win now aspect. Like you've got a really young team overall. Jane Daniels, Bryce Young, Michael Penix. But the wide receiver room, T-Mac, Garrett Wilson, Rice, Flowers, Downs, like I'd almost rather just not push in value when I don't have future picks for like what feels like better production. When there's a chance you just get 2 Garrett Wilsons for Drake London in the 112, a second and a third, I'd rather just make. I
guess I don't mind making a bigger swing like this. My my question is like the outcome doesn't really improve the odd or like improve what your biggest weaknesses are.
Yeah.
Which to me is like your running back room, like you mentioned. Like if you're like, hey, let me try to move this 103, find some sort of way to address running back, then I could say, yeah, in a world you could have a competitive roster because now you have Judkins and insert whatever player you got for the 103. And now it's like, okay, now you have a 1-2 punch at running back. Then, like a Benson and a Sampson and a Rodriguez and all these other players that are kind of flex players and things like that are much more palatable to start than saying, oh, I got to roll with like C-Rod right now. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind taking a swing. I do think this team is relatively close, but I think the upgrade from Garrett Wilson to Drake London is not worth the 103. And even though you do get a second back and a late first, I'd rather just take a bet if I want to trade, is trading that 103 or trading like Garrett Wilson or something and trying to find a running back and then using either the 103 to draft a wide receiver to replace Garrett Wilson or just keep Garrett Wilson and roll with T-Mac, Garrett Wilson, Grice, Flowers, Judkins, and whatever running back I pick up.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think Garrett Wilson plus 103 production. I know the mention right here is, do I take this trade? The value in now. I do get that but the value in now in a 12 by 10 versus like a 12 by 9 where like you do everything you can to consolidate to like true difference making. I think, like you said, I just want to take the running back production. I think Garrett Wilson plus 103 running back production or, swapped with moving Wilson for the running back, taking the 103 shot is just better for this team long term too. Like that 103, that can become, let's look at some 103 running back deals. And we can do Garrett Wilson deals as well. Actually, let's just do I'll just do Wilson while I'm on the screen.
I mean, 103 for James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook was let me do this. Dude, I'm getting dizzy. You ever do a 6-team auction mock? That takes a lot out of you.
You're getting vertigo now from it.
I was just curious if like straight up I could see a Garrett Wilson,
Travion Henderson for the
Garrett Wilson for Kenneth Walker, like there's like straight up running back production trades you can do, and then the 103 can become a receiver. Or like you said, 103 for James Cook, and you've got Garrett Wilson and James Cook, and I think that matches like the timeline of this team a lot more too, where you're young, like you get like 3 years of James Cook running back production with T-Mac year 2, Garrett Wilson, Rice, Zay Flowers, Downs, Harold Fannin, Jaden Daniels. I think that's better for this team than moving 2 pieces to get Drake London. And the 112 too, like the 112 coming back and the 27-second could turn to a running back. I understand those things, but I think it's a lot harder to get production that matters with those picks. Like I don't think the 112 is carrying a lot of value in trades for people right now for like running back production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no problem. Is Wilson the best sell for an RB? I'm not necessarily trying to ship him. But this just was offered me. Yeah. I think the 103, they're pretty close. You can see here literally like 30 points of value difference. And it's probably just a matter of,
if you like Wilson, I would just keep him.
I do think there is some merit to, I'm not going to do the Aaron Glenn thing. Shout out Aaron Glenn, did great things for the Lions defense. Did not do great things for the
Man,
Jets
you're
organization.
stabbing your guy in the back, man.
I thanked him for what he did. I am not going to give him credit for what
You
he's
just want
done.
him to come back. You know what you're trying to do.
I'd take him back. Not that Ben guy. He can stay. No, I think there's some merit to Geno Smith, being a positive versus Brady, Cook, Justin Fields. What Garrett Wilson's had to go through. Yeah. Yep. You could definitely be patient with this team too. And like the 103, we talk about rookie picks, like the value that you can move in the offseason for production. It is never as strong as, oh my gosh, Mekhi Lemon to the Chiefs and Carnell Tate is the wide receiver one for
on the Browns.
Yeah, I was going to say the Browns, and then I tried to think of another spot.
I think
there will be juicy spots.
The pick is going to be more flexible. I think it's literally you go to the team and say, hey, man, I'm looking for a running back, open to selling like Garrett Wilson, open to selling my pick, trying to see if you're open to selling James Cook. Like, what would you prefer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like give them the choice, and you can kind of live with whatever they decide. Because if you keep the pick, you take a wide receiver and you live with that. If they want the pick, you already have your wide receiver room built out, and you address your biggest weakness.
All right, Diaz.
We got the big Diaz situation figured out.
Oh, we did.
The first one is Charlie Daddy.
Oh, okay. I'm in that league.
So I think he's trying to up tier from the Hampton to Gibbs. He's saying what's the plus on top of Gibbs to get to the Hampton.
Okay. And real quick.
Also, shout outs to Kai.
You're a bit late, but here, honestly, Kai, it's for the best.
Do not watch it.
Watch the first hour if you're rewatching.
Once you see the sleeper draft board come up,
go to your YouTube recommended, watch something else for a little bit, then come back and you can close out.
Yeah, mute it so we still get the retention.
Honestly, we could explain it pretty quickly. The auction mock did not go according to plan and turned into a 6-team $500 budget that ultimately was cut short when I got Jeremy approval. All right, paying up for Gibbs and Charlie. Okay. That's hilarious too, that the confusion is around a league that we're all in together. Oh, look at me. Starter rank 2. Dang. Sheesh. Don't look at my 27 picks. Let's go. Okay.
Where are those 27 picks?
Dude, that class overrated. All right, put Hampton on the block. Gibbs manager's been trying to get Hampton, but I'm not giving out my 27 first. So he says, what are you willing to give? I'm tempted. I'm originally looking for the tier down for best ball, but I'll never kick. Yeah, 100%. Never kick Bijan or Gibbs out of the bed for eating crackers. I love that. What should I add to Hampton or Gibbs in this best ball format? Finish, run. I should have read honestly, I would have never gotten to it because I assume Diaz, you're in like 17 best ball leagues. But that is funny because I know you finished runner up in this one. All right. This is a pretty sick team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't really want to move first round picks. Just because your picks are already a little bit drained in terms of no 26, no seconds, thirds, fourths. Not that fourths really matter in 27, but your flexibilities are not super built out.
This is a pretty deep running back roster room for this format.
Yeah.
And I
usually build on the opposite way. Like in lineup, I want to have a ton of running backs, and then best ball, I'm like, I just kind of want to have fewer that I know are going to be putting up good numbers.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I almost had a different thought, and this is, I mean, you've got two.
Yeah,
there's a good analogy. Like there's two monkeys that are like trying to figure out how to open a nut or something right now. Like we both we're in our first best ball league since last year.
Well, I mean, we fried our brains with a 6-team mock draft.
That analogy needs an analogy for whatever I just came up with there with the monkeys opening a nut. But
it's like doing an auction draft and you have it 12 teams and then it goes down to 6.
But I think like wide receiver production you can kind of replicate, and it is harder, I think, to hit the smash, which I think is somewhat what you're saying a little bit, where getting the smash running backs lets you build out those wide receiver rooms that are deep enough to try to replicate that elite wide receiver production.
Yeah, you can have a bunch of the Mac Holland types and hope that they hit, and especially in this format too, with the start 2 tight end with tight end premium, you can just roster any tight end with a pulse, and I'd much rather try to do that. But anyway, I mean, that's just kind of being random, because I was sitting here saying, like, what could you offer? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know
Bryce
if there's something
Young,
that's jumping out to me.
Aaron Rodgers. Does a QB tier down that hurts less in best ball when you have Hurts, start Stafford? It's a little bit of an
like
awkward.
Hampton and Dart, or like Gibbs and Ward or something.
Yeah, that feels a little rich, just with like the spike weeks that you get from Hurts. It's so tough because, like, Stafford, if Stafford was like 2 years younger, you might have a tier down, but it's kind of an awkward. I mean, are you just moving?
Unless you could do the Dart tier down, but even Dart tier down,
maybe you have to move 2 running backs. I mean, you got a pretty deep running back room, and this guy's looking at.
Would you move like Hampton and Kenneth Walker? Like what's you already have Henry, Swift, Chuba, Etienne, like
you're not speaking the Diaz lane. Diaz is shaking his head right now when he heard that. I think it probably would have to be down to like Chuba, just because I mean the 2 shots is like, that's the one thing that I regret is not valuing the like multiple assets, because Chuba plus Hampton, honestly, I mean that's kind of tough. Like Swift plus Hampton equals Gibbs, I think, in terms of like the spike weeks you can get looking at last season. Like obviously Gibbs will give you like a 40 bomb, like that's possible, but yeah. I think it would have to be like a multiple running back. You probably have to ask and say like, okay, what position do you want added?
Sorry.
You're good. The stream's been going on 2.5 hours too long.
My wife had a costume party. I forgot that. Huh?
I'm gonna need to rewatch the stream. I was locked in on some running back tear downs.
I mean, you can see the garage door. No,
I think
maybe not. The overlay might have cut it off.
Potentially.
Let's just say it was a Hannah Montana themed costume party.
That's awesome. Hopefully it didn't cut it off then. Maybe for her sake it did, but yeah, I think it would have to be a running back.
She wants to.
Hey, here we go. Oh, come on. First place.
I'm Oliver from Hannah Montana.
You got the cheese? Is that the thing? The cheese something? Help me out.
The cheese touch.
No, you're doing
I've never seen Hannah Montana.
He's got the something. I got the cheese. He's got the notch. Okay, I'll look this up while you're telling me the. Never mind. We're
Well, okay, where are we at with Diaz?
I think we're ending stream. No. We'll finish the Diaz question. Wait. All right, here we go. We're back. All right, I think it has to be a multiple running back. I mean, this the only way you want to move off of Gibbs, I think, if you're this team, is you're getting a QB upgrade. I mean, you're either attacking, honestly, wide receiver is the last position I would like to attack on this team, just because I think you have a bunch of guys that can't hit your roster, and you have the upper tier. It's tight end in this format, 100%, but I don't think Diaz would want to do that with a valuable enough piece. I think it would have to be, I'm getting Gibbs, you're giving me Hampton and another running back. And if the running back sucks, I'm also getting a tight end as well. And so it might be Hampton and Swift for Gibbs. Or Hampton and Chuba, and you throw in Dalton Schultz or something. in this format.
Or like a 28-second or something.
Yeah.
Like you could, like I think the first round picks I would want to keep, but like
Yeah,
if it's
100%.
like a 28 late pick, I don't give a crap about that. Like
Yeah.
I can figure that out later.
Yeah, I don't think
off the rails.
If I'm Diaz, I'm probably doing the running back just because you have like the 2-for-1 always feels like it's winning in best ball, but because your running back room is so deep of guys who are going to be hitting your lineup every week potentially, I think you kind of have the ammo to go get Gibbs. So I'm definitely knocking on the door of like, okay, what 2 running backs to get Gibbs? And you could start with Hampton for sure. All right. I'm going to pass this to you, Jeremy. Do we have time to do a roster review for Kai's buddy? Really want him to succeed this year because he's just been a donation year after year to this point. I think the energy you want might be next week's stream if you get that live stream ask in there with full context of the team.
I do think maybe we kick off next week with the Kai
after the
stream.
Auction mock.
This is totally like the hey, I'm asking for a friend. Like it's definitely not my roster. I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can definitely do all that. And will there be a mock?
I
don't know. Will there be a mock for that?
We'll be there for that mock. Let's
we'll be there.
Poll. Should we do a poll in the Discord if people want to do
rails.
a rookie mock, or maybe we should just do a rookie mock because we did the startup and we're getting some pro day stuff. Some buzz. We got the Matt Harmon reception.
We can do a million rookies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just always have a rookie mock going.
For sure. Rookie mock next week. Be there. It will be normal sleeper draft format. No budget or auction required. And we will be hitting up Kai's
we might
friend.
need a week or so off from the auction at least.
JD5 Lover Girl. We'll do the roster review for that team. All right. Appreciate you all. If you made it to this point in the stream, why? No, just kidding. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Last question for you, Will.
Yes, sir.
Henderson in the 107 for Hampton.
Best ball? Is it Charlie Daddy? Or is it just normal?
Not.
Okay, sorry. You had me thinking Hampton.
It may be best ball. I don't know.
Best ball, I probably am taking
10, full PPR, one point tight end premium.
Full point?
Full point, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably outside of the Sadiq range. Cheese jerky. Yeah. I had the 50% of the reference.
You're close.
Nice. Let's go. Am I too spooked by the Keaton Mitchell signing and the Najee Harris workload at the start of the year? I do like Hampton.
I think the gap between them is pretty close, and then a huge tight end premium, like a full point. That 107 could be good.
That could be a first round receiver, like regardless of if Sadiq goes off the board at the 106. Yeah, I'm probably taking
even
that.
like Stowers gets higher. Like I think the package is probably just too good.
You said 12 by 11.
12 by 10.
12 by 10. Okay. Yeah.
12 by 10.
Yeah, I'll take the package. I think, and two, I think if it's not a running back,
also no 26 picks.
Outside of that, I think the 107 is a pick you can move for a 28 first, and like if it doesn't make sense for your team, like Hendo or 27 first, and Hendo in a 27 first, even if it's mid to late, I'll take that over Hampton.
Yeah, I love Hampton, but Henderson in a first round pick, a mid first is probably worth it.
All right, I'm leaving. Sometimes I leave the chat messages on screen that have no relation to what we're talking about, and I notice it. I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta click this off. I'm happy I left this one on. Becca, I need a promise. If you still got the stream pulled up, that you will show Jeremy the cheese jerky clip. No context needed. And honestly, I don't even know if context would help with the random Hannah Montana clip. I think the context is just a Disney Channel show in the early 2000s.
Well, yesterday Becca did show me my first episode of Hannah Montana.
Was it for the costume party so you could not
be
freaked
she was
out
like, it was like method acting. It was some method acting of like, okay, I need to understand the character.
Yeah.
Like what the character wears. Like, how do I get this outfit together?
I'll leave the stream with this. Some early planning for my Halloween costume this year. Okay, never mind. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. It's gonna sound really bad out of context. And if I have to explain the context, it's gonna be slightly better, but
you
still
have to
bad.
say it now.
All right, I did ask if children would be
if
attending
people sat
the Halloween
through
party.
2.5.
And that's all that. Okay, it's all right. Never mind. It's all right. Full Hannah Montana watch party for everybody tonight. That's your homework. Come back next week. Rookie mock.
I'll put this Diaz message back up. Off the rails.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's bedtime. Is where we landed.
I think this might have been the best one we've done.
Honestly, we're in off season form for sure. Month away from the NFL draft. It's coming up. Rookie mock next week. All right. GG's.
Rookie auction.
Rookie auction. Sleep tight. Jeremy, any parting words? I'll give you the full screen. NFL draft stream.
No, I mean, thanks for hanging out. This one has been a trip for sure. I love doing all these questions, having everyone in the chat. So every week we'll be here. And Dynasty Daddy, all right, things are just getting deeper. I keep saying, oh, maybe I'll do this. It's like when you clean your room and you're like, oh, let me just clean one little spot of my room. And the next thing you know, it's like 3 hours has passed and you cleaned your entire room. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I got a lot coming for Dynasty Daddy. So we can show off a little bit of it next week, and we'll see how far along I'm at.
And let me say this too, that what is coming to me is like so awesome, and I'm so pumped about it and to share it with the people. Okay, I'm saying this like I'm the one that is creating this. I'm so pumped to share what Jeremy showed me that he is creating with the people that I midstream asked Jeremy, should we not share this week because it deserves its own spotlight. Like the start of next week's stream will be us sharing with this.
In Kai's
awesome
friend's draft. Totally Kai's friend.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I will just say too, Kai mentioned the NFL draft stream. Last year we did a Sunday recap stream. We'll figure out the scheduling for us, and then whatever works, we'll let everyone know. Because last year we did a special Sunday night stream for the NFL draft, and we'll probably do something similar to that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of awesome, like shout out to the Destination Devy guys. I know they always do live streams throughout all rounds. They're ripping, 6th round running back landing spots. I appreciate the help.
I was on their stream last year. That was an experience. They're like, "What do you think of Jesse James?" I'm like, "I don't know, man."
I think that was the first time I had showed the wifey like what I consume, like Dynasty football content wise, and it was just 7 dudes talking about like, "Oh, nice. This is like a great spot for."
Great landing spot. How's the war impact? What is it?
All right. Sounds great. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate you, Kai. Appreciate you, Diaz. There were some nuggets. All right, through the.
I appreciate the help. I think.
I appreciate you.
I think that's like the if we had a trailer. Like for like a game or a movie, and they're like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen." I appreciate the help. I think
3 out of 5 stars. Appreciate the help. I appreciate you all. Go watch the Hannah Montana.
Appreciate you all. Episode. I think.
Much love. Go U of M. Go Will Sanders FF in the March Madness Basketball League, and watch some basketball Thursday. And see you next Tuesday. The Rookie Mock, and see you in the Discord. You're not in there.
And let's see Arizona beat Michigan. So then Will has to pay my buy-in.
Is there any other? I think there's one other Arizona, right? Actually, I think there might be a couple. 14.
Arizona's
Actually,
the second most popular, I think. But
oh, okay. I know I saw Houston on there. We did pull it up to start.
Does it have the browser?
Dude, it is so bad.
I doubt it works in browser.
Sleeper.
Oh, it does work in browser?
Wait, really? I feel like
just
I tried
to chat.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Best Ball was until randomly halfway through last year.
Download on the App Store. Thank you, Sleeper. I got you up here, Kai. Let's see. Are you in the second page? You deserve it. You deserve the. Oof. I'm having to go third page for you guys. Sorry. Yikes. There we go.
Okay, I am the number one Arizona.
All right, let's go. Oh, Vandy messed me up too. I had Vandy beating Florida, which would have been awesome. Seeing Florida lose and seeing a Vandy-Iowa matchup. But, all right. 2 hours, 45 minutes in. Can't believe we let it go this long.
Now we got to talk about March Madness brackets.
All right. See you guys next Tuesday. Actually, see you in the Discord, link in the description. Peace out. Oof.